Okay, guys, your boy Stevie Ray here again for another TKN Celebrity Tournament prediction. And tonight, we have three good ones, y'all. Three real good ones. Let me run them down to you. Number one, we have Courtney Gains, film and TV star. And we all know when the people from the film and TV come, they do very, very well. Number two, one of my favorites, a man that I always wanted to get in the ring with because he beat up one of my favorite professional wrestlers, Ernie the Big Cat Ladd. You know who we're talking about. Terry Allen. You all know him as Magnum T.A. This man was one of a kind. Hall of Famer, guys. You know he's going to bring it. He's a pro wrestler. But I'll never forgive him for what he did to my man, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd. I always wanted to see if he could do it to me, but that's beside the point. He probably could have, though. Last but not least, oh man, Mr. Donnie Most. You know Donnie Most from Happy Days. Ralph Mouth. You know all the jokes he used to do with his dad, Howard Sprague. Wait a minute. Maybe that wasn't Howard Sprague's name on that show. But be that as it may, he was on Happy Days. Donnie Most. He's a player. We all know that. So let's get down to the real nitty-gritty. Who's going to take it? From my vantage point, I think Magnum T.A. will make it to the next round. And I think Courtney Gains might make it to the next round. That's my prediction. Sorry, Donnie, but it is what it is. See you on Happy Days, baby. Peace.
This is different. This is magnificent, man. And I like this. I enjoyed myself to the fullest, and I can't wait to come back on. I can't wait to see it, see more of the people on here.
And it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other.
You have something amazing going with this show because you're there and you're educating us.
I mean, yes, pain is inevitable. I mean, there's a reason we have these sensors in our body. I mean, they're warning signs. In other words, something hurts. Obviously, something is amiss.
She told me her story again about her and her dad, but she also said, by the way, my father passed away. She's an only child, and she didn't have any family. And she asked me to walk her down the aisle. That's the part that changed.
It's just that cruel moment of when you realize there is no hope. That tears at me, but it doesn't tear at me anymore because there was hope. I hung on just long enough to come out the other side. And here I am. Look at me, all beautiful and stuff.
This thing has drawn me out of myself and thereby drawn me into myself. But I learned a lot. And from you, Avi, I always learned something from you.
Continue to work as hard as you can, because by working, Avi, you will keep yourself busy and get used to the grief.
Another trio of questions, now more underrated. We have Billy D. Williams, Italian men named Skippy, or unicycle.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Avi. That's
Archie Bunker, the mountain climber, Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person.
It's clearly an issue with the hard drive.
I'm going to go Don Corleone.
Where I went around, I visited all the adults first in the Stony Brook University Cancer Center, and then I visited the children, and I would say the adults were at least as enthused and joyful to see Santa. And
I got a chance to get to know Joe Weider. Joe was like a second father to me. He took me under his wing. He introduced me to art. He introduced me to history.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder. It's the magic of risking everything for a dream that nobody sees but you.
Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the shadow of the shade. Yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. God, it matters not how straight the gate, how punishment charged the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice. Let me tell you about a voice. The one that whispers. It tells me what's right and what's not, when to leave and where to go. It's not Shakespeare. It does not speak in memorable lines. My inner voice always gives it to me straight. Tells me who my real friends are. When to say yes, when to say no. Whether the person sitting next to me is the one I'll be spending the rest of my life with.
You already know that dedication, hard work, and perseverance gives positive results.
Let your instincts guide you.
What would you do if you weren't an actor? If you didn't make it as an actor, what would you do? I have no idea. I would act somewhere, because I'll die if I don't.
A blast. Oh, I want to dance with somebody.
There we go.
I'll do it.
I do too right now, guys and gals. And you know,
but I was going, Tom, Don, I'm a true fan. Yo, I never watched all of your movies through, Tom, because they scared the crap out of me. Love y'all, man.
Pleasure. Great to meet you. It's great to meet you too, Trent.
Yeah, Avi, yeah. You did a great job.
Hi, I'm Rick Barry, a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame and one of the NBA's top 50 players. And I'm really excited to tell you about my new relationship in the broadcasting world with the new network.
It's TKN, and a young man named Avi Klein has poured his blood, sweat, and tears into creating this new network and assembling an amazing group of individuals to co-host shows with him.
Legends from every walk of life who are just bringing their knowledge and their experience and their wisdom, and This is amazing. I feel like this is a cosmic convergence of what is most important to him, and he's such a stand-up guy.
Here, but with a very warm heart for Avi and thanking him for all the work he's put into creating the new network. For me, I have just a teeny part of this in terms of having a program that's based on storytelling, where I get to share some of my stories with you.
I can't even imagine how hard Avi Klein worked. He tells me he gets 4 hours of sleep a day, and I actually believe that, because Avi is so passionate, he works so hard.
There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
I am so grateful for our friendship. And you know what? You appreciate things in people that make such a difference. You make each of us feel like we're more than we know how to even thank you. Anyway.
He's very respectful, and he really connects with the artists and his audiences, and I felt like this guy's on to something, and I'm proud to be a part of this with him.
And I really thank your support. I lost my father, and you were the first person to support me in all that, and I thank you so much for that.
Avi, congratulations. I don't know anybody that can talk as much as you. Seriously, I thought I could talk. You are unreal. But you do it with class, understanding, professionalism. You're simply amazing. I told you that when I first met you, and you ran off my autobiography. It basically was a book. It was simply fantastic. And to think that you do that every show.
Greatest wealth is when you can share it with someone. You can share your victories, you can share your failure, you can express your deepest feelings, but the greatest wealth is to be able to say that I have a friend. And I feel an unbelievable level of wealth. And a lot of that is because I have somebody like you.
Last name Ventura, first name Jesse.
I'll tell you this, Avi, you definitely do your homework.
John Amos.
Man, what an introduction. I hope I can live up to that. And God bless you.
I hope you're getting paid a lot. That was the greatest intro I think I've ever had.
So I'm highly impressed. So I would give this a very high A.
Well, thank you very much. I can't think of a better way to begin the new year than with you.
Avi, always great to hear your voice, kid, and to hear your intros. You're amazing.
Last name Davidson, first name Tommy.
Nice. I think that's the best intro I've ever had.
Did you have a nice time tonight in the green room?
I had a great time. I can't tell you how refreshing it is that somebody knows what they're doing.
Avi is a poet, but he doesn't know it, but his feet show it. You're unbelievable.
Winning it all, competitive juices, are they all there, Joe?
Man, the competitive juices don't stop.
Are you here to win the whole darn tournament?
I don't play, I just win.
You're chomping at the bit to get in this thing.
Oh yeah, man, I've been telling you, brother. You brought up some names to me, and I was like, I can't wait. I hope they don't see me, because it's going to be on like a steaming pot of neck bones, baby, and I'm not playing.
Mike, I got to ask you the golden question. Are you here to win the entire thing, my friend?
I'll just say this, Avi. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
But are you here to win the entire celebrity tournament when it's all said and done?
I saw a very familiar face in Mike Rotundo, better known as IRS, and he said that he was here for the winner, winner, chicken dinner, and I want to take away that chicken dinner, so yes, I want to win this whole shebang.
First name Joe! Joe Smith, welcome, my friend!
Oh my God, Avi. Where did you get all of that from? Oh my God.
Guys and gals and pals, it's Saturday night, and as you guys know, we have to give thanks to the gentlemen, especially those who are here tonight, Courtney Gains, Don Most, and of course, Terry, Magnum T.A. Allen, because they use their platform, and guess what? They have a purpose. Platform with a purpose. Guys and gals and pals, here we go. Industrial-sized air conditioners at your favorite B&B in Alaska would be rendered obsolete after witnessing that intro because we're all fired up. That much is a fact. You've all experienced luminary after luminary enter this virtual arena. Indeed, this tournament is quite stacked. I dubbed this vision of mine edutainment because I place emphasis on entertainment and education, because on this station, we celebrate those that are passionate about their vocation, and this format is anything but the same old, so I thank you for embracing the innovation and expressing your constant elation when taking in the most star-studded tournament of them all, a place where competitors convey their level of admiration, while we marvel at the information, passion, and perspiration when observing this wide array of talent that make up the population of strong-minded thinkers that enlighten us, which is why I subscribe to conversation, because listening and applying is how we get to our destination. We're all so much closer than we are apart, which is why this show offers a demonstration of what's right about us as a society. So for the new viewers out there who have a fascination, sit back and enjoy as I put a cap on this verbal dissertation. But first, let's experience the present, which is quite the sensation. If Sundays are morning coffee and Fridays are martinis, then Saturday nights right here on TKN will make sure that you're creatively nourished and full like a big old bottle of Red Bull. We avoid the profane and never complain because positivity epitomizes gain when one is looking to remain in a plane where they refrain from the negativity because that word is quite the drain. So escape the mundane and allow us to entertain like a night out listening to one Mr. Newton, first name Wayne. The point is we're all aiming at the same place. They call it success indeed. Don't sprint on your way towards achievement because it's about efficient and consistency. It's never about the speed. Guys and gals, this tournament provides what I dub competitive camaraderie. And so, if you want controversy, go away. I subscribe to conversation over controversy. That'll always be my way. Be open to development because human growth and ensemble go hand in hand as authenticity absolutely is meant to last. Take this experience, which is philosophically fun, an event, not a podcast, and a sport of the mind. Guys and gals, again, this is not a podcast. This is edutainment personified that offers an ambitious alternative in the digital sphere. We aren't the norm because salaciousness and controversy don't belong here. You don't need to live in hell in order to embrace the warm. So smile at your neighbor, promote positivity, and never apologize for your passion. Here on the new network, it's quite evident that compassion is what's in fashion. I subscribe to conversation again over controversy. That will always be my way. So let's keep doing what we do and realize that our motto isn't some Sherlock Holmes mystery. A legendary director of Superman fame, my mentor, rest in peace, told me years ago, write your own history. Teaching history and screenwriting for the best was one thing, but sharing your history is an honor. That mentor lives in my heart daily. His name was Richard Donner. So let's sit back and realize what we've witnessed here in this tournament oh so grand, where 135 Hall of Famers and Hollywood Award winners and nominees own this land as we discover and rediscover our humanity through open dialogue and expand. So be prepared to give a hand to competitors that are about to work their sweat gland, all the while our attention they command. It's my honor to present these wonderful men and women who don't see themselves as merely a luminary. It's a pleasure telling their life story biographically while condensing it with rhymes and a melody. With 15 grand and a 5-day and 5-night trip to Greece on the line, one can't forget about the pride and the prize. So with that, let's all rise and reprise our roles as educational voyeurs that never chastise or agonize, but rather revel in our beautiful reality without needing a disguise. Here on this network, we're all allergic to lies. The bard William Shakespeare once said, it's not in the stars to hold our destiny, but it's in ourselves. So if you love something, don't hate others that do, because doing is the sweet nectar that is most rewarding. Take a moment to breathe, admire your desire to aspire, because if you don't, life will be but a blur. Of this I'm sure, so never hate the flower for starting out as a seed. Long distance running is essential. This isn't a stampede, so don't run anyone over on your way to the top. Focus on yourself and never forget to cheerlead. Root for your loved ones and lift people up. This human fortune cookie hopes that we've all agreed that positivity is something we can never concede. So with that, let's bring in our first participant right now. The great Miles Davis said a painting is music you can see, and music is a painting you can hear. And that rings oh so true when beginning to describe our first participant. He's highly intelligent, and he's a talented human being. He's down to earth, and his down-to-earth nature and authentic self is a breath of fresh air. He's broken barriers, he's worked tirelessly, and he's never let his dreams remain asleep. He runs the day rather than letting the day run him. He's fearless in the pursuit of what sets his soul on fire.
Do different things. Anything that occurs to me, it seems like a good idea. If I like it, I'm following that.
It was pretty exciting musically in that time period, and we all started then getting together, and people would start to play songs, you know, and all of a sudden I was where I thought I was going to be anyway. I knew what I was supposed to do. Somehow. That's one of the nice things I think about my life, is I've always known what I was put here for. This is what I should be. It's a gift, really.
There's a time, once in a while, to say something or to say the right thing.
I would have a feeling about something.
I just try to seek the truth.
It takes over. And it's the same antenna, I think, that sends the songs to me.
I just do, you know, I just keep doing what I think is right.
So, yes, I totally believe it's possible to be at the wrong place at the right time. My example would be this. Say you're trying to drive somewhere and you get lost. So you're in the wrong place, but then you see somebody drowning and you jump in and you save them. So you're at the wrong place at the right time. That's it. That's my debate. Then when he came back as the hero, he does to help her son. He then protected him from the machines to save the world. So it was, you know, the whole world was on the line with him. And he's a machine that eventually even almost becomes human, which is the farthest evolution for a machine now in the AI world that we're coming to that could ever be.
Absolutely, guys and gals and pals, and he's a true Renaissance man. This man can do it all, and he does it, and he leads with passion. The next participant, guys and gals, our first, is quite the talent. He grew up in L.A., close to Dodger Stadium, a place I'm always going to plug. Thanks to after-school theater by way of Miss Gardner, he soon caught the storytelling bug. At age 13, former Golden Gloves champion acting teacher Virgil Fry took him under his wing as his career began to soar high. Who can forget his portrayal in the classic Children of the Corn as Malachi? Let's not forget the groundbreaking classic Back to the Future in 1985. Hell of a soundtrack, but his musical gifts make me feel alive, as he will always thrive on a stage providing us the sweet nectar of its deep melodies in a cacophony that doesn't disguise. It revels in its honesty, as his artistry is pure void of any jive. In the hard-hitting colors, starring Sean Penn and Robert Duvall, he jumped at the chance to play the role of Whitey. As Kenneth in Can't Buy Me Love, he was true to who he was, and that made him quite mighty. 130 film and TV credits are amazing, but he's also a great musician. This man is quite gifted, passionate, and his range is something to behold. Performing live on stage with Fish in front of 8,000 people, that's gold. He's ready to win this entire tournament. He has the experience, the savvy, and the brains. So put your hand together for the one and the only Courtney Gains. Welcome to round two, my friend.
Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. That was awesome. Love that. I actually got to see him perform once in L.A., and that was an excellent show.
One of your musical inspirations, Don McLean.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was great to see him. And I was looking at the footage. I've cleaned up a little bit since I was last here. Huh? The beard's gone. It must mean I got an acting job somewhere down the line. You know.
Hey, listen, man, your range is vast, whether it's external or internal, my friend. But hey, I want to talk about so many different things.
External or internal, excellent.
You know, we know that we're here for the celebrity tournament right now, but what I want to talk about, because we got to hit this right off the bat, guys. Courtney Gains is a man that's busy because, first of all, he loves meeting all of you guys, all the conventions, all the signings. You guys are there to give the love. He gives the love back. He loves that. But also, there's so much great work coming down the pike for fans of Courtney Gains. We're going to bring this up a bit later as well. But there's a film called The Barn Part 3. And if I am not mistaken, it's going to finish shooting in March. It comes out this October 2025 on Screenbox. Are you pumped about that?
Yeah. I was when I got the job, I was like, okay, it's a little indie horror film. Yeah, I've done plenty of those. But when I was doing the conventions, people were like, "You're in that? I can't wait to see it. I've seen the first two." So it's got quite a bit of hype around it, and the shooting's gone really well. So I've got to go pick up 3 more days in March, and then we're finished, and it's coming out in October. And from what I've seen so far, it looks really good. So I am excited.
I'm excited to also mention this because guys and gals and pals, for those that know me well, know that music is a very big part of my life as a writer and as a person that grew up with an eclectic taste. Guys,
you a rapper, son. You a rapper.
You know what? I'll tell you this. If I want to wrap my mind around one thing, I want to wrap my mind around your amazing music career, because I love hearing stories about artists who are, again, I consider them Renaissance people. There's so much more to the story about a person beyond what we see on the big screen or silver screen or small screen. This is something that I want our fans to devour. They could find the following on Fake Fangs Records. That's Fake Fangs Records. Could you please tell us a bit about this? This is a great single you got coming out.
Yeah, so if you see the one of me there, that's my EP that's on there called Safe Haven. That came out last year. But the one above that is the most recent thing they've put out, and it's called Marshes to Mountains, and it's It's to help the hurricane relief. You know, the North Carolina got wiped out, man. People don't realize how bad it is up there. And so a bunch of Savannah, there's a lot of music in Savannah, a lot of musicians out here. It started out as a 30-song compilation record to raise money. It's turned into 200 songs. It's just insane. There it is. And so I have a single on there called Wandering Dream that I'm really proud of. It's track 167.
There we go, right here.
It's a real banger. It's a real rock banger. I'm glad to have it on there, but I'm really just more excited to be part of this and proud to be part of this whole Savannah effort to help the people in North Carolina, because there's people who lost their houses. They're sleeping in tents in the snow right now, man. So all the proceeds are going to go to help them. So there's a lot of really, really good music on there, and all the proceeds are going to them. So you can go on there and check it out. You can hear some of the tracks, and if you can, if you can find it in your heart to buy it, great. It's going to go to a worthy cause.
And I'm going to play a bit of it, guys. I do have a tribute video for Courtney and for Magnum and also for Don. And in their tribute videos, there's some cool musical surprises for all three men. Courtney, I got to ask the magical question again. Right now, we love it. We got the studio. We got our viewers. We got sponsorship. This thing has grown since last year. We're happy about that because, again, not to sound, I'd rather sound sappy than be cynical in life. There's no time for that. At the end of the day, we're putting good out to the world. There's nothing wrong with competitive camaraderie. And, hey, this is a sport of the mind. One and one person only will win that trip to Greece. 5 days, 5 nights, 15 grand. Are you here to win it all, my friend?
Yeah, well, I mean, I would love to go to Greece. My girlfriend would really love to go to Greece. So there's the inspiration. But, there's a lot of alphas here on this, male and female, that are hungry for this thing. So I'm going to take it one round at a time, do my job, and take it from there.
I love it, man. And you are one of them as well. I'll put you backstage and bring you back momentarily, my friend. Guys, the great Courtney Gains, again, in the few times I've had conversations with this man, he always makes me feel good about me, and that's the quality he has. He's as real comes. We appreciate him. Guys and gals and pals, let's bring in some other individuals who have done so much to make your lives a lot easier and a lot happier and a lot greater. And guess what? They're two great friends. They're two people I collaborate with, and I cannot wait to bring them in right now, so let's do that. Guys and gals and pals, if you envision your future by writing your present, that might be a start. Maybe you can gauge before you engage, disengage from toxicity, not from your vision. You can't sell a house until it's been built, so don't stop building. The more pieces you build, the longer it takes. But the longer it takes, the stronger the foundation. Precision plus vision equals success. Chips Ahoy cookies, better soaked in milk than lemonade. Is that deep? I don't even know if that's deep. But guys and gals and pals, the following guest is a very smart and deep and authentic person. He's a human being that has a wonderful gift. His blank canvas has been filled with beautiful works of art, and it resonates with all of us. His emotional connection to the words that he bestows upon us, they're a true elixir for anyone that elects to traverse deep into their own soul.
The questions here is for you, Donny Post. Where did you pick up your signature line, "I've still got it"?
You light the match. He says, you take the thing and you go outside the subject. It lights this. It causes this to light. It's bright. It's this. He says, but you got to go inside sometimes. He says, look, you light the match, and look at the flame within the flame, and look how how the burning makes it twist a little bit. And he did like 20 minutes on a mat. It's a whole different style of things, and sounds became funny. So I had to make up stories to tell them so they would listen and play in the room. So that's when I first started making up stories and crazy stories to make them interested. I was the oldest, and I did that the rest of my life, made up stories.
Without even having words, without even having, the benefit of the lyrics, somebody was so good that they could take just the music that would set it up and bring you in, as you said, and give you the feeling of what the show was going to be. So and then Chinatown has this incredible closing scene, which has twists of its own. But I found that one moment when the sister-daughter thing, and you know, they make fun of it, but it's because it's so powerful.
Absolutely, guys and gals, and so is he. This man is powerful, and guess what, guys? He also listens to his soul. Another Renaissance man, yet another, guys and gals, who can offer so much joy through different mediums, whether it's film, television, stage, or music. And man, oh man, guys, can't wait to talk shop with him about music. Our first participant is a kind human being who watched a film called The Jolson Story at 9 years of age. It made an impact on him, and soon thereafter he would shift from music and find his place on stage. As a teen, he would meet his manager, Selma Rubin, who started sending him out, meeting agents, commercials, auditions. As storytellers, we do it with a smile, and we never even pout. Dead Man's Island with Roddy McDowall and William Shatner and a bevy of great work only begin to tell the tale. He co-starred on the iconic Happy Days, which to many is the small screen equivalent of the Holy Grail. Going on tour with Dick Van Dyke in the play Damn Yankees was a hell of a way to kick off the 80s. He was also featured on shows like Sliders, Dark Skies, and Chips, which attracted, of course, all the ladies. He's a true Renaissance man, as he's also voiced the role of Eric in Dungeons & Dragons. We're talking all 3 seasons. Is this man interesting? Sure, and these are but a few of the reasons. The great Buck Howard with John Malkovich. Ed TV, directed by Ron Howard. His beautiful works are endless and timeless. Pretty soon I'll be bringing him in, and I'll be rhymeless. He's a storyteller and director, but his passion for music is very uplifting. But he started singing in resorts and clubs at the young age, guys and gals, of 13. But getting lost in the feeling of music is his focus when off screen. We thank him for making his laugh as Ralph Malph. So speaking of songs, this rhyme will be my swan. The rhymes are gone as we welcome in a man that ushers in the dawn. So put your hands together for a kind, humble, talented human being. Last name most, first name Don. Welcome around to the tournament, my good friend.
Wow, what an introduction, Avi.
You deserve it.
You keep outdoing yourself. I don't know how it's possible. That was something. That was something.
You deserve it because you made a lot of people happy. You made a lot of people smile. You followed your heart. You followed your soul, and you've retained your humanity. We walk in the same circles, and this last year it's been, I haven't told you this because sometimes you know what it's like being a writer. Guys, Don is an incredible screenwriter as well on top of that. Being a writer, sometimes we get to the nitty-gritty in those writers' rooms that we're a part of. 21 years of that. Sometimes you don't see people who retain their humanity in this business. You have retained your humanity. You've become a dear friend. You're compassionate. You care about people. You listen. And I'm glad that we've been able to cultivate this friendship through this medium, Don.
Yeah, Avi, I have no words. I have no words. You've left me speechless. It was heartfelt and hit me. That hit me. Thank you so much. Appreciate those sentiments very much.
You deserve that. Can't wait to collab on some of the scripts because, again, guys and gals and pals, Don never stops being creative. He does it so very well. I want to bring this up because, speaking of being a Renaissance man, much like Courtney and much like Magnum T.A., there's a film called Harson's Island Revenge. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. It's imminent. We know that, right, Don?
Yes. I've heard conflicting, reports of whether it's going to be late this month or February, but hopefully not past February because I still haven't seen it, and I'm hearing great things about it. And it's a very, very different role for me. I think people will be surprised. I mean, I love playing all different kinds of parts. That's what really gets me passionate about. And I've been doing a lot of that in the last 4 years, playing all kinds of roles. But this one might take the cake. It's based on a true story during Prohibition, with all the bootlegging going on in Michigan. And there was this very vicious, feared gang called the Purple Gang.
Right.
It was a Jewish mob, and I play the head of the Purple Gang. So it's pretty intense, and so it's going to come out in theaters, and then the streaming platforms will follow. So I'm excited about that one.
I think that's incredible. They operate in Detroit, Michigan as a gang during the 20s in the Prohibition era, as you mentioned. And the Michigan legislature, if I'm not mistaken, they prohibited the sale of liquor in about 1917 or so, 3 years before the national prohibition was established. And of course, along with Henry Ford, they owned the River Road plant, and they desired a sober workforce. There's a great history behind the Purple Gang. I am now more interested in this film than I ever was. I can't wait to see this. So if you can, my friend, please keep us posted. I would love to let our audience and our sponsors, and again, the studio execs that are behind this show, I want them to know about this. You're continuing to do good work. Before I ask you the age-old question about the tournament, what is it that keeps you so inspired? Because it pours out of you every conversation that we have.
I don't know. I mean, you mentioned it hit me at a very young age. I was 9 when I saw the Jolson story, as you mentioned. And then there's a bunch of other people that influenced me very much after that. And then the acting, because it was music first for me and then acting.
Sure.
People think of me mainly as an actor, but it was music. And I've gone back to that, as you've alluded to. But I don't know. I just always had such a drive. And it was because of some of the people that influenced me. And I'm very thankful that fire is still there. And it keeps me a little younger and keeps me a little happier.
Well, you can't be distracted by comparison if you're captivated with purpose, and you have a purpose, my friend. Is one of those, of course. We've got $15,000, 5-day trip to Greece. Network, of course, right now drawing some interest. 135 Hall of Famers and award winners from all over the place here in this umbrella, along with you as well. Do you want to win the entire TKN Celebrity Tournament, my friend?
Oh, yes, definitely. Never been to Greece. I know my wife would love a trip to Greece, and just this whole experience is, you start getting caught up in it. And now that I'm in the second round, I'm getting even more pumped up. So
I love
definitely want to win.
Sounds very good, my friend. I will put you backstage and bring you back momentarily.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Guys, Don, salt of the earth, a real great human being. And again, as I mentioned, traveling the same circles with a lot of people that can always let you know that when it comes to Don, whether you see him off screen or on screen, this man cares. This man is down to earth and grounded. And so is our third participant, who has become an absolute amazing friend over these last few years. Guys and gals and pals, greatness, it transcends any era. Our third participant has elevated his level of greatness to improbable heights. There's no doubt. The excellency of his art, I think it's its consistency. It's its intensity. It's the capability of making all things improbable evaporate. Not many of us know what we're made of until we face insurmountable odds. When we're at our best, in our prime, this man has. So if service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on Earth, then this man has a view from one heck of a high-rise.
There's only one thing, my friend, that you're ever going to take to your grave, and that's integrity. You can't take money, you can't take property. All you can take is your reputation and your integrity.
Certainly a pleasure to have you here. You are a very, very impressive individual.
Let me be one of the first to publicly congratulate you, not only for your perseverance and your sense of integrity, but now that you've moved on to another realm in professional wrestling, and I'm delighted for you.
And have goals, have aspirations, but enjoy that journey just as much as that goal that you want to achieve. So I think the here and now every day is a blessing, and that we all need to cling to that and celebrate it every day. And I think today more than ever, we've got to get back to the grassroots of what we believe in as a person, as a country, our ideals, our morals, and not let things be dictated by media or by anyone else's agenda.
Without questioning, guys and gals and pals, again, this man pays it back. This man is able to look back and pay it forward the way that he does in a very organic, enthusiastic, positive way. The following individual is a man that I deeply respect and admire. He always brings the fire, wire to wire, as his heart will always aspire to embrace positivity, and through the eternal essence of who he is, you bet he can put away any brush fire. Theodore Roosevelt said twice Not once. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. And I concur. I believe in this man, this friend, and everything he stands for. He's down to earth. He's a gentleman. And I'm privy to the fact that rare human beings are those you cherish most. Very soon, he'll be an official co-host. To this, I toast. And forgive me, but maybe I'll even boast, because we're going to tackle what's important today. So, as he's about to make his way, let us all listen to what he has to say and respect the message that he will always convey, because his wealth of knowledge is like an intellectual buffet. As a two-time U.S. and North American champion, it's black and white. There is no gray. The man's athletic artistry was second to none. Move over, Sugar Ray. His legend is as intriguing as one Doc Holliday. You had goosebumps when you watched him walk the aisle or on the parquet, be it live or during a replay. If he isn't in your Mount Rushmore of the greatest ever, I have nothing to say. Maybe you're just joshing me like maybe a stand-up comedian, guys and gals, of a certain elk, a guy named Leno, first name Jay, or a comic named Andrew Dice Clay. He took us on an emotional ride akin to observing an NFL game played on Monday, or a powerful Shakespeare play. So sit back and enjoy your dinner. Maybe it's a filet, or a creme brulee, or perhaps some other entree. So let's bid adieu to these rhymes now, as they will now go away, as we put our hands together for a legend of a human being and a dear friend, Terry Allen, known as Magnum T.A. Welcome to round number 2, my good friend.
Oh, thank you, Avi. It never gets old. You are just such a breath of fresh air every time. I'm blessed to be in your presence. Thank you.
Well, you make people around you better, my friend. You deserve to hear that because, hey, you give everyone a pep in their step by just being, again, who you are, knowing your priorities. You have your priorities straight. And the first 2 conversations we had, I was going through a bit of a rut. We all do sometimes. And after speaking with you, I said, man, this is someone who has put everything in perspective and has been able to use his life experiences to the betterment of people around him. So I want to thank you for that.
You know, it's the way we give back. We've all got a different gift set. There's so many talented men and women taking part in this tournament with you, and it's just real pleasure just to be in this company, and I'm honored.
Oh, well, we're all honored as well because, like I said, when it just comes to the resume, there's enough, guys and gals. There's enough. We're talking a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time on Mount Rushmore. But when it comes to what you did post-career, Terry, you're always busy. You're always doing so much. You're always speaking from the heart. You're always educating others. And again, family comes first. What would you say is, before I bring in Courtney and Don right now, what would you say keeps you going, keeps you motivated now in 2025?
For me, it's being the best version of myself that I can be every day, which means, being the best dad, best husband I can be for my family, and, be the best coworker I can be with the people I work with in the professional world, and try to, lead the ones that I love by example rather than with a bunch of rules and a bunch of rhetoric that, sounds all great, like it comes out of a book, but if you don't implement those things in your own life and share them in your own spirit and share that love with the ones around you, then it really doesn't mean much.
That's very true, and I'm glad we'll be able to explore that because as of this week, Wednesdays and Fridays, we have even more shows coming down the pike because a lot of the celebrities and luminaries with their own talk shows like yourself are going to be able to have some time to be outside of this tournament to co-host with yours truly so we can talk about things that really matter. Now that round 2 is essentially kind of in the 11th hour right now, not only a couple months left before round 3 begins and my head's above water, we could do some of those shows as well. I can't wait, but everybody wants to know, 15 grand, 5-day trip to Greece. There's no doubt this is the most star-studded tournament of all time. Are you here to win it all, my friend?
I will say this. I am here to be part of this journey as long as it's possible because this is the greatest collection of minds and spirits and good human beings that I've ever been a part of. And I'm just glad to. I want to continue to be as long as I can. And I cherish the experience way more than the prize. And
how about, would Greece be a nice vacation spot?
Oh, anything would be a nice vacation spot. But I don't do a whole lot of vacations and whatnot, but I probably have plenty of family members that would convince me otherwise.
There you go. Guys, and again, Terry here, of course, being very humble and modest. This is, again, a man who, again, is carving out time for this tournament, much like Courtney Gains and Don Most. We're all here on screen right now. We're officially kicking off round number 2. And as you guys know, voting is not something that's, You don't lead with a pitchfork around here. We don't do controversy. But voting means someone resonated most with you. When you cast your vote in the comment section, it means someone resonated most with you. And I love you guys as viewers, guys and gals and pals, because you're so respectful. There's no one better over here. No one's going to come out saying that they're better. But at the end of the day, who resonates most with you? We're going to find out. 2 out of 3 will move on. That's how it works in these 3-way matchups. 2 out of 3 move on to round number 3. We'll find out momentarily. It's cumulative. So the top 2 vote getters tonight after 2 topics will move on to round number 3. Between topics, I'll play a very quick tribute video to some of those that we've lost in this journey. And guys, again, welcome Terry, Magnum T.A, Don Most, and Courtney Gains. Here they are, and topic number 1 is before us. I'll zip the old lip. I'll introduce the topic first. I'm going to kick it over to Don Most, then Courtney, then Terry. Here is topic number 1. Guys and gals and pals, when you begin to study the craft of songwriting, it seems like you can't write at all sometimes without getting bogged down in all the things you're supposed to remember to do. Are your rhyme schemes consistent? Does the chorus melody differ from the verse melody? Given that there are a ton of things to consider when you're refining your craft, it's a miracle you can make it through the song at all. What if we take a step back? What if we remember the intent, like we do on stage, the intention, the purpose, the meaning? Inspiration begets productivity. Loved ones inspire us to be the best we can be. But what about those that inspired us? What about them? Whether it's a faith-based song or a good old-fashioned rock and roll song, what if we could salute those that inspired us so many moons ago? So, Don, I'll kick it off to you, my friend. Take your time as long as you'd like. Guys, if you see Courtney or Terry, index finger goes up, that means they can rebut or ask a question in the middle if they like, and I'll pop in and make it official. It's not mandatory if they'd like to. Don, if you could write 3 separate songs that honor and pay homage to those that inspired you, what title would you give these 3 songs? To whom would you render it and why? And if you could dedicate one song to a musician or a band that inspired you, an athlete that inspired you, and a loved one that inspired you, who would they be and why? My friend, the floor is yours whenever you're ready to go. Good, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to start with the athlete. Which athlete inspired me. And regarding the song titles, what I did, because I wasn't quite sure whether I was writing my own song title, but I decided to go with songs that existed and find the title that would correlate to my topic. So the first song title is Not All Heroes Wear Capes. And there's an actual song by a group called Owl City. And the person that I'm going to talk about, the athlete that inspired me, did not wear a cape. But funny enough, when I was a little younger, before I became a big fan of this athlete, there was a person that did wear a cape, and I was like 5, 6 years old. Of course, it was Superman, and I would wear Superman costumes, and I would fly. I had my friends convinced we could fly, so that was a hero with a cape. But the athlete that was my man was the great Mickey Mantle. See, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. So, and when I started following baseball, it was about 1959, 60. I remember my first World Series was the Yankees against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Great, legendary 7-game series. And then the next year was that incredible year 61 with Mantle and Maris chasing the Babe Ruth record. So I became, just a maniac fan for the great Mick. There was nobody like Mickey could do. I mean, he had all the skills. I mean, he could hit with average. He had won the Triple Crown. And then he won, home run titles. He could hit for average power. He was the fastest man in baseball. I mean, that combination, and he could play defense. And there was something about the Mick that I became so caught up in it. I had almost like Mickey Mantle wallpaper in my bedroom. I mean, there was not 1 inch that wasn't covered with a picture of Mickey. So, and I went to Yankee Stadium, saw him many times, and there was nothing like it. And he just, there was nobody that I had that kind of feeling for at that time. I was 7, 8, 9 years old, but the way he also inspired me, I think, was that in my athletic endeavors when I was growing up, 8, 9, 10, playing ball, but whether it be little league and football, it inspired me to seek that kind of excellence, to give me the drive to, be as good as you can be, to be exceptional. And because Mickey it oozed out of him. So he gave that to me, and I think that crossed over from those sports into my acting and my singing. And so it gave me that kind of drive to be the very best that I could be.
That's refreshing. That is so, because, you bring this up. I have to say this. You bring up a lot of interesting points, because as a musician, again, Courtney, a fellow musician as well, returning to your first love was music. And I think it's interesting that you have a show, and people should know about this as well, that fuses the swing era with 50s jazz. And of course, you sound amazing when you're live. How important is it to be inspired by someone that you can essentially serenade? And I mean that, again, it could be a loved one, it could be an athlete. The importance of doing that in song form, Don, is that something that speaks to you?
Yeah. I mean, the people that inspired me musically, that's leading right up to the next person inspired me. So maybe this will probably answer your question, I think. The song title is "Nobody Does It Better." Of course, Carly Simon did that song. And the musician that inspired me, you mentioned Jolson. Yeah, Jolson was the start, but then it led to this guy, Walden Robert Casado. And you're going, who? Better known as Mr. Bobby Darin. And let me tell you something about Bobby, because a lot of people, think of Bobby as he started out in rock and roll singer and all that, and some of those hits. That was not Bobby. That was a means to an end. And then Bobby moved in, and they all said he was stupid to try to do, the standards, the jazz standards and all that. But then that album, the song became Record of the Year, changed his life. First time I saw Bobby was in a movie that my mom took my sister and I to Radio City Music Hall. I could remember like yesterday. It was a movie called Come September with Rock Hudson, Gina Lollobrigida, and Bobby Darin and Sandra Dee, who then later became his wife. I'm watching the movie, and there's a scene where Bobby is singing at some local club, and it was not any song that people go, oh, I remember that song, but there was something about this guy. I remember leaning over to my mom. I'm 11 years old, and I say, "Who is this guy?" Because there was something about him, and she told me his name, Bobby Darin. So a few months later, I'm walking. I'm at a drugstore. I'm at a drugstore thumbing through albums, because back then you could look at albums at a drugstore. And I come across, I see Bobby Darin. It's an album called This Is Darin. And I went, oh, I'm getting this. I took it home. I loved that album. I just, in the living room on my parents' stereo on that turntable, I played that over and over. And then I started singing along with Bobby. And I mean, it just brought something out in me. It was like I was just so connected, even at that age. And I just sing it until I drive everyone crazy. And then I saw him at the age of 18. I saw him perform at the Copacabana in New York twice that same year. And he was freaking amazing. And that's the thing about Bobby. Then you see, that was when he won the Record of the Year for Mac the Knife I was alluding to. Bobby could do any kind of music, any genre, and do it great. And he could swing with the best of them. And that's why I said nobody does it better, because I'm telling you, and he was a great writer. Yeah, and he wrote a lot of really cool songs. But and I'll tell you a quick story before I finish up. I had the pleasure, and this is what I'm talking about, how great he was and how much he inspired me, because then I started singing in my shows now. I do a lot. I do a good amount of Bobby's music in my shows, and I always close with Mac the Knife. I mean, it's just so. It's just like in my blood, and he inspired me so much, and I owe a lot to him. But the quick story I was going to tell you was I had the great pleasure of meeting Sammy Davis Jr. one time. I was invited after his show to backstage to talk to him. He wanted to meet me. I couldn't believe it because Happy Days was pretty hot then. So I go back and I'm talking to Sammy. I'm going because I loved Sammy too. I mean, I played a lot of Sammy and saw Sammy live. So we're talking about the music, songs, arrangements. And then I said, you know who I also love? I have to tell you. And I mentioned Bobby Darin. And then Sammy just looked at me. And he didn't say anything for like, I don't know, 20 seconds. And then he said, the only performer I would not follow was Bobby Darin.
Mm.
He could have mentioned a lot of other people, but he said Bobby. That's what I'm telling you. Most people, if they knew. So he inspired me. And like I said, I recorded one of the songs he did, 2 songs that he did on my CDs recently. So I owe a lot to Bobby. I do. So I hope that answered your question, Avi, about, I can't even remember what the question was now, but I think I might have covered it. I'm hoping.
Without question. I mean, and you bring up Bobby Darin. It's so important for our audience to know. You mentioned it right now briefly, but you incorporate a lot of the music into your acts, not just, we're talking Dean Martin, Nat King Cole, others from that era. Oh my gosh, there's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, Sinatra, of course, Sinatra.
Sinatra?
You know, yeah. I mean, I loved all of them. But Bobby was my man. And he, you know, tragically died at the age of 37.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So young.
He was nominated for Academy Award in the movie. What was the name of the movie? Captain Newman, M.D. He was nominated for best.
I didn't even know that. Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he did a movie, hell of a dramatic role with Sidney Poitier, called Pressure Point.
Sure.
I mean, he
was a tour de force.
Yeah, he could do it all.
He could do it all.
Yeah.
I love to have people illustrate their thoughts, because when you brought up Bobby Darin, if looks could speak, Terry and Courtney, you had to kind of look in your eye when you brought up Bobby Darin. Could you elaborate? What is it when you hear like the name Bobby Darin in that context, guys? Magnum?
It's just such classic, you know, all-American, you know, crooning and entertainment. And to his point, any genre, it didn't matter what it was. So you see people that have to stay in one lane, but he was so multifaceted and so talented on so many levels. And it's such a shame that so many people, you know, throughout our history that have been so just gifted and talented, and we've lost them so early.
Yeah.
And that's a real shame.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about what he might have done, you know, with a full life to bring those talents to us.
And you know, Don and Terry, of course, with your illustrious careers, Courtney, who did so much great work, we're talking about 4 decades worth of great work. When most people that I meet are asked, what's your favorite decade? Everyone says the 80s. Everybody loves the 80s. And in the 80s, when I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think when you were shooting Colors, around that time, La Bamba comes out, and we find out about the true story of a couple other musicians. The day rock and roll died, they didn't get a chance, of course, to even reach their prime. We're talking about the Big Bopper. We're talking about Richie Valens, and we're talking, of course, about the icon himself, Mr. Buddy Holly, all because of a coin toss, right? That's kind of what it went.
Yeah. Well, what a great history lesson Don just gave us. I mean, I learned a lot. To hear Sammy Davis Jr. say that, I mean, you couldn't get much higher of a compliment than that.
Exactly.
And Don, let me ask you this. I mean, I don't find that surprising, because you've committed your life to music at a young age. So you're extremely amazing with what you do. I mean, I listened to I Love the Way My Baby Sings the Blues and the rest of the album as well, of course. Yeah, it's really cool. And I like the fact that it speaks to a contemporary audience as well. Definitely classic, definitely contemporary. Was that by design?
Yeah, what happened was about 6-7 years ago, when I was right in the middle of bringing my music back, and I met a talented, really talented musician, producer, arranger, and we decided to do an album with a great big band, some of the top LA jazz guys, and so it's called Mostly Swinging, Mostly Swinging, and it was it was definitely the sound of the big band era, but it was brought to with a modern sensibility with the voicings of the arrangements, I'd say. But it was definitely, you had to love that kind of music, the jazz standards, the Great American Songbook.
Right.
This next one, I did with it's called New York High, with a different producer who's based in Nashville, and he said to me, I think we could still do jazz standards, but I think we should do it with a more contemporary setting, not the big band, but just some great rhythm section guys, and throw in some solos, horn solos, and maybe even do some songs, from the 70s, and mix some other things in there. So it had a totally different feel, but I did get to do a lot of the jazz standards, but like with a different vibe to it. And then songs like Ooh Baby Baby, the Smokey Robinson song, and a couple others that were from, because I love the classic rock era as well. So we threw some of that in. So like you said, I think he was looking to broaden the audience and not just have an audience of people who love the standards, but bring in some other people into our audience. So
that's beautiful. And while you still pay homage to a lot of people that influenced you at the same time, I think that's really cool and really neat as well. I will ask the next question now to Mr. Courtney Gains. And essentially, it is the same question that I just asked Don. And of course, Mr. Magnum T.A.
He only covered 2 topics. Does he have to do his third one? Isn't there a third one? A loved one?
Don, do you have the one for the loved one by any chance?
I do, and I know I talked a lot, so this one will be.
No, that's okay. Take your time.
This will be a lot quicker. The loved one that I picked is I've been married to for 43 years. My wife, Morgan Most, and I met her. She did an episode of Happy Days. That's where we met. And then we got married 2 years later. And then I started, of course, I fell in love with her. But my song title is Undying Admiration. And that totally that coins it very well. I started, besides all the normal romantic things that happen in a relationship, I became aware of just how talented she was in so many ways. I mean, acting, she sang too, and wonderful painter. And then I found out about all her abilities that way beyond what I could do in terms of like around the house. I mean, she would tile the kitchen floor and the kitchen counter. I could never do that. She'd fix the electrical things and could paint the house. Or, I mean, there wasn't anything that she couldn't do. And I couldn't believe it. As I learned more and more about her, there was more and more admiration. And such a wonderful person with sensitivity and empathy. And then at the age of 23 years ago, she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And she's had it for 23 years. And to watch the way she's handled this awful disease, to watch it and to see it inspires me. I could never have dealt with it the way she has. And I just have undying admiration. She's doing pretty good. But just amazing. So Undying Admiration, song title, says it for sure.
That's beautiful, and thanks for sharing that. I know in our conversations as well, there's many times where we talk about how Morgan still inspires you, and again, through the screenplays and the work that you do behind the scenes, the team that the two of you guys work as such a great team together.
Yes, Yeah, we started writing together.
Yeah.
Not, it was like 35 years into the marriage or something
Sure.
like that. And then we because she started coming up with these great ideas.
Sure.
She didn't even know where they were coming from. And then we started working together, and it was a great teamwork, great bouncing off of each other and complementary to each other.
That gives me inspiration. I love that. Maybe my 8th wife will give me a bit of that, guys and gals, one of these days. Who knows? Wait and see on that. But guys, you don't have to wait on see on what Mr. Courtney Gains will give us from his.
I'm glad I asked for that third question, because that's a great tribute to his wife.
It really was. It really
All
was.
right.
Absolutely. And guys, that's what I was gonna say. If you guys, again, I know there's 3 of these in this one topic. I know it's a bunch, but thank you guys for giving it your all. I really appreciate that. I'm going to set up the audience again with that question in case they want the setup. Sure. Courtney's ready to go, guys and gals and pals. Courtney, if you could write 3 separate songs that honor and pay homage to those who inspired you, what title would you give these 3 songs? Whom would you render to and why? And of course, dedicating it 1 song to a musician, 1 song to an athlete, 1 song to someone who inspired you, a loved one. The floor is yours whenever you're ready to go. Good, sir.
All right, going to start with music. I've always been a big fan of hers, but I just read her autobiography, and that's Janice Ian. And I'm trying to get it in there good. Okay, there we go. I've always been a big fan of hers. I think she's one of the best singer-songwriters to ever do it. And to just put that in perspective, so she started recording professionally at 14 years old. Her first song in the 60s was the title of this book. It's called Society's Child. And it was extremely controversial because it was about a black and white relationship in the 60s, and that caused a lot of controversy. So she was out promoting this record at 15 years old. There were people buying tickets just to razz her, and she was literally at 15 afraid she was going to get shot on stage, right out of the gate. That was her career, and it was a massive hit. And then people were hailing her as like the female Bob Dylan and all these things. Tremendous pressure at 15 years old. And the career flamed out for a little bit around 17, 18. And then she really kept working on her craft, kept putting out records. And then she got signed by CBS. And at 24, she put out what I think is one of my favorite records, which is called Between the Lines. And a famous song called At 17, which is sort of the anthem for all the un-Barbie-like girls in the world. And the Ugly Duckling theme song, as it were. And that album for me captures the melancholy you would feel when you were a teenager in bed at night by yourself, feeling lonely, looking for love, like nothing else to me has ever caught it. And that's why it means so much to me. And I had a chance to see her play once, the Troubadour, and she only played at 17 from the record because she said the rest of it was just too painful to still play. And I actually could believe that, because that's how I feel about it. But so at 24, she put out In Between the Lines, and at 17 was just a massive hit. And so in a 10-year period, she had this incredible comeback. And so my title is Lightning Does Strike Twice.
Great.
All right, so that's my Janice Ian. Next one I'm going to go with is my athlete. I'm doing visual aids today. This probably, I don't know if people know who this is, but this is Jamal Wilkes, who I think, there you go. Jamal Wilkes.
Silk.
Yeah, exactly, Silk. I think one of the most underappreciated, classiest players to ever play the game. To give a little history, he won 2 NCAA titles at UCLA playing with, if you look here, representing Bill Walton, the great last big redhead, he just passed away this year. Loved Bill Walton, but he played with him at UCLA. They won a couple national championships, and then as a rookie in the NBA, he won a championship with the Golden State Warriors, with I know some of you have had on here recently again, Rick Barry, and then went on to play with the Lakers and won a championship there. And the thing, they call him Silk because he's just so smooth, right? And to put it like, if he got a breakaway, he never dunked on, he never dunked. He always did layups. He's always just classy, right? Never talked trash. But to put it in real perspective, in the game that Magic Johnson is most famous for, where he scored, I believe, 52 against the Sixers to win the championship, he, while guarding Julius Erving, scored a quiet 38. I don't know how you score a quiet 38 in an NBA championship, but he did, while guarding, the Doc. So I had a chance to meet him a couple of times. And the first time was a friend of mine was kind enough to get that autograph for me. The second time I was at a convention with him, and on the Sunday where it was slow, I walked up to his table, and just like when a fan wants to talk to me, you know, you have these things you've been building that you wanted to say for years. And I just blurted it all out. And the number one thing I told him was I thought that the Lakers really did him dirty when he got ill for a while. Right after they won their championship, he got ill, and they got rid of him. And that's when, you know, they brought in Big Game James, came off the bench, and the rest is history. But I thought he had done so many good things for them. I thought they really did him wrong, and they didn't retire his number until he got into the Hall of Fame. And I thought that was also really doing him wrong. They had to put his number up on the rafters after that. He was in the Hall of Fame. So when I said all that, I think he really appreciated that I really respected his game. And I don't know if you remember, he had the oddest shot. His shot would go like around like this, and then perfect form when he released it. But it was very different. And I told him, you know, that was such an interesting shot. And at that point, he warmed up to me, and he told me how when he was playing at UCLA, you know, how the great John Wooden, you know, after practice, the first year's practice, said, stay after practice. You know, and he just started throwing him, you know, go over to the corner, start throwing him the ball, and I'm just hitting shots, poof, poof, go to the top of the key, poof, poof. And he said, you know, this goes on for like 30 minutes, and then he just goes, yeah, don't change that. But I thought, how cool that Jamal was telling me a story about how, you know, his shot didn't get changed by one of the greatest coaches in, you know, obviously college history. So Jamal Wilkes is my man. The song is Silky Smooth.
Good title.
Okay, and so my last one, I'm gonna put a little twist. I think when one uses the word inspiration, I think one tends to think of that as positive. I think for me, a lot of inspiration has come from things that are not necessarily positive, but can be hurtful or negative. Like a lot of the songs I write are about broken, you know, my heart being broken or things like that. So the loved one I'm going to choose is my ex-wife, and because she actually really inspired a real song that's going to be coming out this next year, called Been Forgotten. We went through a divorce, and that was the song that came out, and I've had it for years. I recorded it once before, which you can find on Spotify, but I've really re-recorded it recently, and I'm really happy with this new version. I'm hoping to get a big release on this thing this year. We got some things in play. But it's just, I find, like I said, for me, inspiration doesn't always come from the positive. And as an artist, I'm very thankful that I have a platform, whether it be music or as an actor, to take those things that I find painful and use them and put them to work as inspiration. So again, the song's called Been Forgotten.
That's amazing. Thank you for bringing that up. And I do want to talk about what Courtney's doing, guys and gals. Such a great cause. He mentioned, of course, how North Carolina was devastated. We're going to bring this up momentarily, but I have to do this because, again, guys and gals and pals, bringing up Jamal Wilkes, an underrated gem of a player. Courtney might see Jamal Wilkes in this tournament. You never know, because we got a lot of those Lakers. We got Michael Cooper. We got Byron Scott. Guys and gals and pals, we got a lot of the Lakers. Jamal Wilkes, you're right, 1975, Golden State Warriors. He was a starter, of course, called Keith Wilkes before
he changed his name.
Before he changed his name. Rick Barry and I have a show called Hall of Fame Hangout, and he always brings up the fact that Jamal Wilkes, what made him so great as an LA Laker is the fact that he was selfless. When Magic Johnson, at the time, a lot of fans don't remember this, in 1979, he got the biggest rookie contract of all time. 20 years, $20 million. At the time, it was astronomical.
Yeah.
Right now, it'll buy you a stick of gum, I guess. I don't know, but back then it was 20 million. But a lot of the players were envious and jealous. Jamal wasn't. Jamal was always the guy that kept the cool, kept the locker room together, kept everyone together. And as Courtney mentioned, of course, when he got hurt, got sent out to the Clippers. Norm Nixon got sent out to the Clippers as well.
That's true, too.
So they became teammates as Clippers. And yes, a very, very good story there regarding, of course, inspiration, where it comes from. Guys and gals and pals, I'm going to kick it over right now. I did have a joke, and I hope not to bring this up, but apparently, and this is a true joke, I think makes it pretty fascinating. Yeah, most divorces are caused by marriage. That's all I'm saying. I'm not bitter about my exes. I'm not bitter about my exes. I love them all. They're great.
The truth. It's easy to get married. It's very hard to get divorced. I mean, that's my advice.
It's going to work out one of these days. And in all seriousness, it happened because my exes, again, great human beings, they didn't quite understand that as a writer, you're so consumed with the craft, and it's who you find that accepts what you do that keeps you alive as an individual. to not lose your individuality. It's so very important for the youngsters out there to know that it's a full partnership. Respect what your partner does, and hopefully they respect what you do as well and your passion, and you can keep that alive. Hasn't worked out for me, but it will. Guys and gals, what is going to work out right now is that we're going to keep this thing moving because Don Most, Courtney Gains, and Terry Magnum T.A are here. Terry, guys and gals, is going to finish up this first topic. I'll repeat it to all of you very quickly again. Terry, if you could write these 3 separate songs that honor and pay homage to those that inspired you, what title would you give these 3 songs? To whom would you render it to and why? And of course, you'll dedicate one song to a musician or a band that inspired you, an athlete that inspired you, and a loved one that inspired you. Whenever you're ready to go, the floor is yours. Good sir.
All right, I'm gonna tell the story first to inspire the song. So my path, my career was that of a young man that wasn't a natural athlete, that was an only child, didn't have a family that came from a sports background, raised in a little rural community of Great Bridge in the middle of Chesapeake in Virginia. And in the 70s, it was kind of a unique world. I was born in 1959, but I was in high school in the 70s, and I was trying to find my way. And I got introduced to wrestling in a gym class, 8th grade. Couldn't do a push-up. I was like the epitome of everything you wouldn't want to be and be trying to be an athlete, much less in a combat sport. But nonetheless, somehow I latched onto it and decided I was going to make that my own, and failed miserably the entire first year. Got pinned every match I wrestled except for the last one, and felt like I was getting warmed up, getting ready for the second round. And then my sophomore year, my mom introduces me to this book. It is about
Dan Gable.
Dan Gable, the legend, the wrestler, who had won the Olympics in 1972 and had an unbelievably amazing, inspiring story. And it so lit a light and a passion inside me to become the best and to overcome all naysayers and everything else, that it just took over my entire life. Not that I wasn't diversified, because I wasn't an artist like these 2 gentlemen, but my mom wanted me to be diversified, and I studied jazz guitar while I was going to high school, and had all kinds of cultural experiences, everything from Andre Segovia to Beverly Sills to Charlie Bird, you name it. I saw all these people perform, and it just had a wonderful diversified upbringing. But this guy Dan Gable was at the center point of my love and my passion, because I wanted to be the best at something that I've read about this guy who's now become my hero. And as we talk about songs, and we can all identify with so many things. It's so funny. You can hear a song and remember something from 30, 40 years ago, just like that, just like you were there. It can bring you back. And so Dan Gable's, obviously his career had nothing to do with music, but this little movie came out in 1975 called Rocky. And when I went to see Rocky, it wasn't about the Sylvester Stallone story. When I heard this music, that was it for me. That was the deal. That put the background on this guy who had overcome all odds, gone to the Olympics, injured in both legs, wrestled an entire a whole Olympic competition basically on one leg, and didn't have 1 point scored on him in the entire Olympics. Beat them all, and just a huge testimony to hard work, dedication, overcoming adversity. His sister was killed when he was young, and just all kinds of things that could have crushed him, but he turned all those adversities into a positive, and it fueled his passion. So he was this driving force in my early life, and unbeknownst to me, one day our paths would cross, because I went into this little thing called professional wrestling, and had a little success in that, and had a career-ending automobile accident in 1986, and one day got invited to go to this thing called the Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa, that just happens to be Dan Gable's museum. So off I go with my family in a car and across America to be part of an event. And I got to meet my legend and face to face and shake his hand and tell him my brief little story and how he'd influenced my life. But it was really kind of unique and just appropriate because I hadn't really followed his career outside what he'd done in his own pursuit. But obviously, anybody that knows the story knows he went on to be one of the most dynamic coaches of all time and has inspired so many hundreds and hundreds of individuals and helped people achieve goals and dreams beyond anything anybody would have ever expected of them, that his giving back really even overshadowed that tremendous on the mat career that he had. So that every time I hear the Rocky theme, it's not the boxing match with Apollo Creed that I think of. It's Dan Gable standing there on the Olympic Forum, getting his hands raised, getting the gold, and along the way happened to take a couple of brothers named the Petersons to gold and silver right along with him that weren't even expected to make the team. So he was inspiring and driving and giving back the whole time he was driving himself to excellence. And he was just such a mentor of mine who he'd never met and influenced my life greatly. So he's my athlete. That's his song. And every time I hear it, that's how I identify the great Dan Gable. My second choice is really not my second choice, but my first greatest supporter and fan in my life, who was my mom. I lost my mom back during COVID, and she'd been fighting Parkinson's for years, and the COVID just accelerated all that and took her out. But my mom was my biggest supporter, believed in me when I was getting pinned all those matches my freshman year on the team, and cheered and rooted me on throughout all the way till I won the state championship as a senior, and believed in me when it wasn't real popular to do. And my mom and dad were married for over 50 years. My dad, during my younger years, didn't have the ability to know how to be a dad and be a father. And my mom made up for all of it and poured herself into me and gave me skill sets and things that I would utilize my entire life, and didn't realize how important they were as a young man, as a teenager. So in 1986, while I was working for an organization called Jim Crockett Promotions here in the Carolinas, part of the NWA, I was able to do a tribute with my mom. I was getting ready to wrestle for the World's Heavyweight title in my hometown of Norfolk Scope. And Dusty Rhodes, my best friend, was a producer and came up with this concept to do a video with my mom with Wind Beneath My Wings. And just take your breath away. And we shot a vignette in Virginia Beach for me running down the beach and her meeting me there. And she had just literally been so giving of herself that it was great to be able to give her that tribute with that Midler, famous song and put, a special meaning to it for me above and beyond, anything else. Again, the songs, tie together to those, precious memories that, nothing can ever take away from you. And my mom being true to who she was when the fame and fortune were all, whisked away in the blink of an eye with like a lightning bolt that hit me. She was still my biggest cheerleader, believed in me when the experts were saying that he's never going to walk again. He's going to have to be taken care of the rest of his life at 27 years old. She never accepted any of that, not even for a millisecond, and encouraged me, supported me, again, cheered me on every inch of the way, every foot of the way, whatever it took. It was all victories in her eyes. And she was true to that faithfulness till the day she left this earth. So, it was great to be able to lift her up, like that and showcase her. So that's my inspirational song. And then the bands and the things that you remember, so many musical influences. Obviously, I grew up with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and every genre that you could possibly imagine. But there was always a song that just stood out in my mind for some reason from my youth, and it was turn, turn, turn from the birds, because for every time there's a season, and I have lived so many seasons. I have said both of these gentlemen here and all the participants in this, and it's so unique that we can all still share our perspectives. Hopefully, give some not just words of wisdom, but some experiences from life that can be encouraging to others. I was never an actor on a stage, but I was an actor in the theater of the round in the entertainment world. And not until it all came to a crashing halt did I realize the influence and the feelings that you instill in people who take part with you through that journey, because ours was episodic 12 months out of the year. It never stopped. We didn't have a season. It was ongoing. So when you were at the height of your game, you're coming into people's homes, they're seeing you look right straight through that television to them in their kitchens, on their couches, with their moms, their dads, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents, and they all feel like you're a family member. And I just had a young man reach out to me on Instagram this week, and because they replayed the Dark Side of the Ring thing, where they did a little story on me a while back. And he told me and thanked me for not giving up, and for being the man that I said I was, and doing what I said I was going to do from the beginning. And he was telling me that he and his friends actually underwent grief counseling in school because their hero had gone down. And that's as real as anything can be to me in my life, that people loved what you did so much, and it hit them so hard that they had to have help coping with the reality of that being a tragedy, and can now look back on it years later and have come out better on the other side. And it inspires me. Those people inspire me to this day to want to persevere and to be whatever the best version of myself is each and every week. And some days it's not very spectacular, but it's always consistent. And every morning I wake up, it's a fresh start, a new chance, and I celebrate that and am thankful. So I'm thankful to be in your guys' company. I really am. I'm fans of what all of you do, and I just think it's such an honor to be part of this great thing on the network.
You know what excites me the most? Well, far and few in between these days, although they're doing better now, is when the Knicks get a victory. That's always good. Growing up in Queens, New York, these aren't the Knicks I remember. But I'll say this. I have to tell you that the thing that excites me the most is universal respect. And I love seeing you guys on screen. I teach the craft of storytelling, acting, blah, blah. I've been doing it for years. And I always tell my students it's the nonverbals. And the way you guys respect each other nonverbally on screen, that excites me. Thank you. Because really, again, it could sound sappy, but I'd rather be sappy than cynical. There's something to believe, I think, about humanity right now when no one believes in each other. And like we could do that, not even by saying something, which might be a good segue into our second topic, but by the way you guys are able to convey your emotions and your thoughts by listening to each other. Thank you for doing that, because I think that teaches a brand new generation, the younger generation, how we can pay respect and how we can be patient for our turn and how we could learn from each other through each other's stories. And the fact that you guys exemplify all that, I want to tell you thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I'm sitting back there, and it really moves me. It really moves me a lot. Appreciate that. Not as much as the game of golf. That game doesn't move me so much. A lot of people like golf so much. The object of winning golf is playing the least amount of golf. Think about it. No one's really figured that out yet. Also, I want to ask you guys this, because we're living in the microwave era. Everyone wants instant gratification. How about this? Is let sit for 2 minutes the most ignored instruction among microwave users? Can you guys wait 2 minutes? I can never wait a full 2 minutes. I'm pulling that sucker out. Are you guys doing the same? I want to know, does anyone make it the full 2 minutes? Can you recall the last time you guys have done that? Don, you have?
I do.
I want to be like Don. I can't do that. I'm like 155. There's something in my brain that goes at 155. I got to pull it out. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But guys, again, oh my gosh, I got to tell you, Terry, your story has inspired a lot of people, and you're being very humble because you learned a business and a craft, and I wish our viewers can get this, and maybe they will. Terry described it perfectly. You know, people think it's the glitz and the glamour, but you guys have no off season. You're traveling 24/7 all the time. It's lather, rinse, repeat. And if you get to a town, you're not really seeing the town. You're seeing the hotel. Maybe you get a good workout in. Maybe there's a Denny's open at 2 a.m. so you can get a quick meal after the show. And then it's lather, rinse, repeat all over again. Right, Terry?
Yeah, it was at the peak of my success. It was 7 days a week, and it was twice on Saturdays, twice on Sundays.
Wow.
And every holiday. There were Christmas and Thanksgiving was just an excuse to have a big event.
Wow. You were called what, the double shots on the weekends, right, Terry?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Average 11 to 12 matches a week.
When you first came in, you know, everyone's green at some point. When you came in, you weren't in the business for maybe about a year, but it was Barry Windham that kind of broke the ice. The two of you got together, you traveled on a trip together, and you realized you had a lot in common. Is that right?
He set me up with Dusty. And my music background is what opened that door up. Barry bailed on us. He met some little girl and took off and went another way. And we went back, and Dusty pops a Frank Sinatra 8-track in the dash. And Dusty's traditionally a, you know, Hank Williams Jr., you know, Willie Nelson guy. And,
right.
And that's what most of his cronies were. Well, because I'd grown up around everything.
Sure.
I knew every word to every song and sang every note all the way back. We sang Frank Sinatra songs all the way coming back from Jacksonville, Florida to Tampa, and formed a bond that was like he thought I was like the Enigma. I was truly a unicorn. How did I have this kind of diversity? It was out there, you know, doing what we did in the ring too. It made no sense. And you know, and again, my love for different kinds of music and the appreciation of the art of what it takes from. Again, like Andre Segovia came to our home,
sure,
and had performed a concert, and he was like 70 years old at the time, and was still so just amazing. The notes that he could hit and play, and
sure,
and you know, and that's the great thing about artistry. You can have that long span if you have good health, and still be, you know, an amazing gift with what you're able to do.
There's so much rhythm to precision, especially when it comes to wrestling in that ring and being able to listen to the audience in real time, much like musicians do, much like Don and Courtney do, to be able to listen to the audience and kind of understand what it is that they want. And back in the day, calling it on the fly and being able to work with such creative geniuses the way Courtney and Don have, and the way that now they're imparting their wisdom to others, the way Terry has with Dusty, who was 10 years older, but more like a big brother to you, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible stuff. What I do want to do is, speaking of incredible people that influenced us, for about 60 seconds, I'm going to play a video for those that we've lost that have been associated with the new network, with TKN. And then topic number 2 will close things out. And I also want to let them know that there are 2 great days in a person's life: the day that we're born and the day we discover why. And I discovered early on how special you are to me as a friend. And sometimes we say actions speak louder than words, but in 2020, sometimes words are all we have. I don't take this man for granted as a friend. I don't take him for granted as a brother. And I will say that because who knows what tomorrow brings. And I appreciate you for who you are, Del, wholeheartedly. The floor is yours, solo.
Well, thank you, Avi. I appreciate that, and the feeling's mutual. I appreciate you for who you are.
Mr. Sizemore, first name Tom.
Yeah.
How are you, my friend? I could turn the volume lower if you'd like next time. If you'd like me to do that, Tom. I could do that.
Wow, that was something else. I don't know what I can do now.
Oh, please.
That was terrific, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And
this thing is going to be, you know, a lot of fun for people. I don't think people like this on the air. I don't think really. No, there isn't. You know, I just think it's going to be I'm very interested in how people respond to it, you know, because I know it's going to be interesting and see if people tune in and stay tuned in, and I really hope they do. And you know, I'm all yours, bro. Let's go out and make this work. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.
Did you feel as if transitioning to the stage and performing live theater was a natural fit for you?
Yes, I did. I always felt very comfortable on stage. More so on stage than I did in film or television.
Thank you for being you, my friend. I appreciate you and respect you wholeheartedly.
And that goes double for me to you, Avi.
Oh, man, I got to tell you guys a story, and there's some levity here. I lost my dad recently. He was definitely my hero in life and still is. No, that's not past tense. And give you a little background about my dad. Very, very big guy. One of the biggest guys I know, but very gentle, very quiet. Can handle himself, but I didn't really need to a lot because he was just such a giving person. And they told my dad on a Friday, it was right after my segment with John O'Hurley, Kelly Packard, and Matt Hughes, the UFC legend. And I get a call, and they thought that a pacemaker would do the job. My dad's kidneys were failing him, and they thought maybe to avoid total heart failure, which at that point, kidneys go, the livers go once the heart's not working. They said, we might change his pacemaker. So they waited a couple of days, and I got the call after that segment, that aforementioned segment. My brother calls me up and says they're giving Dad 2 days. He's not going to make it out the weekend. And it's his choice because he doesn't. He wants a DNR, do not resuscitate. I, of course, was selfish about it. No, Dad, we talked about never giving up, and and when the Almighty decides, and that's let it happen naturally. He didn't want it, and he was such a fighter in every sense of the word. But he kept fighting, and he never saw this show because here's the levity: he didn't want internet, he didn't want a laptop, he didn't want a computer, he didn't want any of that stuff. He didn't want to be bothered. He was a simple man, and I loved him for that. So I go to the hospital, and I see him the next day, and he has very big hands and those index fingers. He goes, "Come here." I go, "Okay." I lean over, and he says, "I've never seen your show, but if you go now, I know you've done like 220 of these consecutive. You haven't missed a beat ever. If you go home now, I'm going to watch your show." I said, "Dad, you can't put me in this predicament because I want to be by your side. I'm not. Nothing's more important than family. Nothing. Bread and family, health is our wealth, and then there's bread and butter, and then there's the show. Like that's not top priority." He goes, "You got to go home. I'm going to watch your show. Please do that for me. I've never seen it." Mm-hmm. So he watched the show that David Justice was a part of. David Justice was on that show. Marcus Bagwell was on that show, and he stayed and watched it, even though they said that he wouldn't make it past the night. But he passed on a Sunday morning. But before he passed, and before I said, "I'll go do the show for you, Dad, so you can watch it," he summoned me over again with those big old index fingers of his. And I lean over and I'm thinking, man, what kind of pearls is he going to bestow upon me right now? And he says, "Son?" I say, "Yeah." He says, "Give me some of that water over there." So I love him so much. He continues to inspire me and live in my heart. And I wanted to share my dad with you guys, and I wanted to share a friend of Terry's, Dell Wilkes, who is an incredible human being, an absolutely amazing gem of a human being, the great John Amos, the great Tom Sizemore. And guys, we're always going to pay it back and not forget those who've inspired us. And right now, I'm going to continue with topic number 2. Hopefully that inspires all of you with Courtney Gains. We're going to rotate it out this time around. And guys, again, speaking of inspiration, I implore you, I am asking you to. There is a plethora, a smorgasbord, a wide array of great music if you go to this website that I'm going to pull up right now, where you can pull up Marshes to Mountains, a great cause. This is some incredible stuff over here. Courtney, you do it much better service than I because you were there recording art. Can you please let our viewers know more about this, please?
So music is a big thing in Savannah. And a friend of mine, Jim Ree, who owns the Fake Fangs with an S recording, so fakefangs.com, put together this incredible compilation record of Savannah artists from all the way from the 60s to now. It's like, so it started as 30 songs. It's gone to 200 songs, and all the proceeds go to help the victims of the hurricane in Western North Carolina, which they've really been devastated. So, and I have a song on there called Wander and Dream, which is a new song that I put on there that I would love for people to hear, but really anybody who can find it in their heart to contribute to this goes to a good cause, and it's a lot of really, really good music. So from Savannah to North Carolina, that's what this is about.
I love that. And I want people to do that. I want to continue able to bring this up. I don't want to use the word plug. I want to use the word honor. We're going to honor Courtney with his great music that really does inspire us. I gave it a listen actually 3 days ago, and it's really great, guys. Don, you're doing a lot of live stuff as well because, again, it seems like you're so liberated on stage doing what you love and telling stories musically, that's still something you're active doing right now.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm living now in Colorado.
Right.
My wife and I moved near Boulder. So I started doing some shows around here. This past Sunday, I did a show at a jazz club in Denver called Dazzle.
Sure.
And it was great. I did it with a big band, and it's just nothing like that. And they asked me to come back, so I'm going to go back there and do it again late February. So yeah, I want to keep it going. I hope, I'd like to juggle the acting with. Sometimes I have to put the music aside because I might be gone for a little while. But so hopefully I'd love to be able to keep doing both, and we'll see.
I love that. I love that. You're still doing what you love. You're doing it with people that you love and people that inspire you. And got some cool news as well. We'll talk off screen about that. Don is a great screenwriter. Got some great projects that I can't wait. I know they're going to get produced and get showcased to the masses because some creative ideas that the team of Don and his amazing wife are doing together behind the scenes. I love that. And speaking of together, Terry, you and I are going to do this thing together. We've got a great show coming down the pike very, very soon. Very, very soon, actually. It's imminent. It'll air during the week with a lot of the other talk shows we have on top of this tournament. But we'll be talking about things that really matter. You have a lot going on as well. I know that you do. I think that when it comes to our show, maybe a tagline could be something like, we've entered an age where independent reasoning is scorned and individualism is dismissed. But that won't happen on our show, Terry.
No, it won't. And when I was young in getting mentored and guided by folks, I had it instilled in me, early on. And I in thinking about the show, which you make me invoke all this thought into things, trying to remember how I got where I am. My senior year, and everybody's got to have a quote in the senior yearbook. And I went back and looked, and I had put in there, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it, from William Ward. And, it's been like this prophetic thing theme running throughout my entire life. And, if we lose the ability to dream, even if it's not a selfish dream of something you want to personally accomplish, or you want to help guide and help someone else achieve a dream, or give them the ability to still dream. And find that within themselves, it is such a driving force. And I think we're, so much of that's been stolen from us with the things that are prevalent today, and the lifestyles and the things that are taunted on social media. This is what you need to be happy, and this is the measuring stick we should all strive towards. And going back to our song theme, from Mick Jagger, I can't get no satisfaction. You can have all those things, and you can achieve the world, and have all the money, and have all the awards, and all the support from your peers, and be as empty as a 50-gallon bucket. It's just not what it's all about until you can figure out how to give it away where you get it back.
You're right about that.
It's a gift.
Absolutely. I hope we don't go down in history as the first society that wouldn't save itself because it wasn't cost effective. There's something to be said about that. And we will explore everything with Mr. Terry Allen as we do over the phone as well. And guys and gals and pals, thank you for listening. A lot of times, again, listening and the sounds of silence can convey more than words. And that leads me to our final topic, which Courtney Gains will kick off. And we appreciate that. Courtney, could you please describe a time in your life when silence was able to convey more meanings than words? The floor is yours whenever you're ready to go, good sir.
Yeah, the two things that came to mind were meditation, because that's a place you slow yourself down and go into silence, and that's something I do regularly. But the one I want to talk about is nature. I'm not going to talk about a specific incident. I'm just going to talk about it in general. And that's, for me, going to nature by yourself is a really important thing. And what I find happens as I go into nature is all I'm left with is my own thoughts, judgments, and evaluations, because there's nobody else around me judging or evaluating me. right? So I'm hearing my brain go off throughout the first 20 minutes, and then things start to slow down, and I start to pay attention to what's around me, and I just start to absorb nature, and nature just is. Nature isn't judging. Human beings, all we do is judge and evaluate each other, essentially, which is what's one thing that's cool about this show, is there's not a lot of that going on, which is how refreshing. But in general, that's what we do. It's a part of our survival mechanism. So when I'm able to be present in nature, life just slows down, my breathing slows down, my mind slows down, and I get into a relaxed state, and I'm able to let go of a lot of the anxiety that I'm carrying around and tension that I'm carrying around that a lot of times I don't even know I am until I'm in a peaceful environment. So that silence, just being by myself, no language, no words, just being present to the creation, is where I find that silence is more powerful than language.
Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And guys and gals and pals, again, thank you for your participation in this, and again, allowing us to enter your living rooms every single Saturday night now. We'll continue to do so. That was Courtney Gains. I'm going to kick it over now to Mr. Terry Magnum T.A., and we're going to finish up with Don. And right afterwards, guys, I'm going to have a tribute video for Don, about 60 seconds, some images, hopefully he appreciates, and then Courtney, and then Terry. And of course, guys and gals and pals, we will let you know, of course, who moves on to round number 3 of this celebrity tournament. Mr. Terry Magnum T.A., my friend, the same question I will ask you. Please describe a time in your life when silence was able to convey more meaning than words. Floor is yours, good sir.
Well, so I learned a very painful lesson in that I found out that if you're paralyzed and they decide to give you a tracheotomy, not only can you not move, but you can't communicate. You can't speak, you can't do anything. And I had that joy of about the first three to 4 weeks of my stay in ICU when I had this crash. But it taught me something about human nature and about us passionate people, because we that are passionate feel like we have to express and we have to make sure people understand what we're trying to convey. And I'm speaking for, when I say we, passionate, everybody who's been an athlete, a performer, anything is passionate about what they do. So what I found was in moments of conflict, and this doesn't matter if it's with your spouse, with your family, at work, that in the moments of conflict, silence is so valuable because fueling a conflict always inevitably yields the same result. But when you can step back and listen and really understand why someone feels the way they do and how maybe your actions or something you've done or they think you've done has impacted them, how you've made them feel, how somebody at work may have a perception of something that's totally off base, but unless they get a chance to express it and you give them the latitude to do so by being silent and giving them that respect, even though it may be eating you up inside that you want to explain it all away, you can't ever really grow. And for me, and I learned all over these years that you don't try to talk people out of their feelings that are real and are impacting someone internally or something you can't measure from the outside. And so if you love them, care about them, or just want to be a good human being, you want to give that respect and give them time to let it out, say what's on their mind, as long as it's not something that violence is attached to or somebody's going to be harmed. That silence is just a great tool to use in relationship and business and everything that you do.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Terry. We appreciate you. Thank you, Courtney. We appreciate you, Don. Let's see if you are with us, my friend.
Yeah, sure.
I
just hold on. Let me see if I can get back.
Take your time. No problem. We can actually hear you.
Darkness is the place to be in silence.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Hello, darkness, my only friend.
Yeah, visual aid. He's an illustration for us.
What happened? Hold on a second. I don't know.
Take your time, my friend. It's okay. It's okay. I remember when Bill and Ted had that big presentation. The lights went out, and we were all like revved up to go.
God knows what's going to happen when the lights come back on here.
It's okay.
Wait. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hey. God, that was scary.
That was Mr. Terry Allen. Thank you again, my friend. Thank you again, Courtney. And guys, we're going to wrap things up with Mr. Don Most right now. Second topic is upon us, and Don will close it out with the same topic presented to him. Don, can you please describe a time in your life when silence was able to convey more meaning than words? The floor is yours, good sir.
Yeah, when I saw that topic, and when I first got it and read it, the first thing that came to my mind was the time during when I was in college at Lehigh University in Pennsylvania. And, you know, at that age in college, it's a time when you're really finding who you are, you know, getting your identity. I think it's a pivotal time, you becoming a young adult. And what the experience that I had, it was during my freshman year. And during your freshman year, at Lehigh, we couldn't have cars. You couldn't have a car. So I, at that time, was going into Manhattan quite a fair amount to go on auditions because, you know, even though I was in college, my desire and focus was really still on the acting. But, you know, my parents wanted me to go to college to have something safe as, you know, because going into show business, they thought would be, you know, not a wise thing to do. So, but I was still pursuing it. So I had to take the bus, and it was almost a 3-hour car ride into the city, and then take 3-hour bus ride back. And I was going in, you know, fairly regularly, and it was during that time when I just remember, you know, I was alone and in my thoughts, looking out that window and everything passing by, and that it almost became like a meditation because you get into the rhythm and all that, and your brain starts going. And I think what happened was, you know, it was a time of intense introspection for me, and I feel that led to a significant amount of insight at that time and self-discovery. I think in a way that was much more meaningful than, you know, I learned a lot. I was learning a lot, but it comes in increments. It's not, I had all those silent times, and I think it was almost like building blocks. You know, you learn something, and in that silence, it was me discovering it, and in a way more meaningful than if somebody was telling me, you know, if here's what you're going to learn, or here's what you need to know. I had to learn it by myself in that silence. And I often look back and think about those times as a critical part of growing.
Yeah, thank you so much. You guys are all amazing artists, and I think without the silence, sometimes we're more lost without it than we are with the noise that surrounds us. Oh gosh, I hope there's some talent agents that can hear that somewhere, and maybe they could learn to zip the old lips sometimes. But you guys are incredible. Thank you. This was topic number 2. We're good. Before we turn it over again and find out again who essentially moves on to round number 3 of the TKN Celebrity Tournament, I do want to play a tribute video to Terry Magnum T.A. that I put together, to Don, to Courtney as well. Starting with Don. Anything you guys, Terry and Courtney, would like to tell Don before we bid him adieu?
Yeah, I have one thing I want to say. Number one pleasure meeting you, but two, I don't know if you realize this, but so my girlfriend Karen DeGennaro is your manager.
Oh my God!
Oh wow! Wow!
At Chris Rowe Management. So
oh my God! That's quite the coincidence.
She'll be watching the show.
That's incredible. That is pretty.
Her 2 favorite redheads.
And Bill Walton. And Bill Walton.
And Bill Walton. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, please send her my regards.
Will do.
That's incredible. Absolutely. And Terry, I know that you and Don, again, such great body of work when it comes to some of the great, amazing commercial work out there that you did. Made a lot of people happy, no pun intended. Happy Days was a very breathtaking show that really influenced a lot of people. Terry, you were a fan of the show.
A huge fan of the show, and coincidentally enough, just like the Fonz with a leather jacket, when I was trying to find my character in wrestling, because they came up with this name, but nobody knew what that name really meant, what I was going to do with it. And I ended up grabbing a leather jacket and coming to a town on a motorcycle, it changed my entire career. Instantaneously. So I always laughed because the leather jacket was the infamous pivot mark in my success. So
sure,
so the ponds rubbed off.
Great to hear. Great story.
So sometimes props are amazing supporting characters, right? You never know. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I'm going to, guys, Courtney and Terry, I have an awesome video for you guys. I'm going to put you backstage momentarily and play Don's video right now. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Courtney and Terry.
Great getting to meet you. And I enjoyed hearing your stories, both of you. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you, Courtney and Terry, for sticking around backstage for a brief moment as I play this video for Mr. Don Most. You had a nice time tonight, my friend?
I did. Like I was just saying, and you were talking about how we listened. I just became really pulled in to both Terry and Courtney's their experiences and the way they expressed it. And I just really became a very intent audience member at that point.
I know what you mean, my friend. And you did the same thing, and so did, you're right, so did Terry, and so did Courtney. I feel like I had the best seat in the house, listening and learning under your guys' learning tree. So I hope you enjoy this, my friend. I put this together, a little trip down memory lane.
That was great, Avi.
Graciously humbled. I'm humbled, my friend. And hey, do me a favor. Let me know, where can I get one of those voices? I want to get one of those voices.
But really, that's very very moved. What a beautiful tribute you put together. Loved it.
You deserve it, my friend. And thank you for inspiring people. Thank you for inspiring me. I hope you have a great rest of the afternoon, my friend.
Same to you. And same to Terry and Courtney.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Thank you, Don. Take care. I will talk to you soon, my friend. Thank you, Don. Again, guys, what a gracious human being Don is. Great person that I think is class personified, and we can say that about everybody, and we will. Courtney Gains, I have something for you as well, and I have something for Terry Allen. Courtney, I want to play something for you as well, because again,
first off, man, he sounded great. That
voice,
that was fantastic.
Now, you are a musician, and you understand, you have such a very eclectic taste. You're very diverse. You've got range on set, on stage. What do you think about that when you hear Don Most? I mean, it sounded so.
He's a crooner, man. That was
right.
Smooth. I'm just a rocker, buddy. that guy could sing.
Not just. You are a talented musician, and I really want to be able to see you live. Let me ask you a quick question. Anything on the Northeast coming up? I'm in the Northeast for the time being.
I'm in the process. I just got a new rep and a new booking agent. So we're in the process of seeing what we're going to be able to do on the road. Right now, The only way to really see me is in Savannah. I'm doing tons of, restaurant, bar gigs, 3 sets a night, a lot of fun and really getting my chops together the last couple of years. But if you go to my Facebook page, Courtney Gains Group, you can find out what we're doing musically.
And again, guys, I want everyone to know that right now, there is a project that will be finished shooting in March, but it'll come out in October of 2025 on Screenbox. And that project calls The Barn Part 3. Courtney's in it. You got to give it a watch. And of course, guys, again, what this man is doing, hurricane relief, North Carolina, very important stuff. I'm going to keep plugging that because that's important.
Fakefangs.com. Go to Fake
and that's single
with an S.com and check it out.
Yes, guys, you heard Courtney say this because it is plural. It is Fake Fangs, Fangs, fakefangsrecords.com. It's very important to go up there and check out what Courtney and I are discussing and check out his single. And you might get a chance to listen to some of his amazing music right now.
Here we go.
Incredible single.
Explore, wander and dream. Explore, wander and dream. In the end, I'm not sure what it means. 40 years
Seinfeld, Jason Alexander.
just like they say.
Great sound. Great sound. Mario Lopez. Colors.
So much harder than it seems.
Linda Hamilton.
Trying to live out
Reese.
your dreams. Yeah.
Verbs.
Trying to
Classic.
live out
Classic.
your
There you go. Time to fly, guys. Check it out. Donald Gibb. Great guy. Commercial. Oh, there's Nancy.
Won an award at Stitches Film Festival.
Absolutely. Alice.
And that's my girlfriend right there, Karen.
Oh, wow. And the Hycon himself. Great art. Amazing. There it is. Courtney doing his thing as only he can, guys. Amazing stuff. Great presence. Amazing presence. Guys, Courtney's got such a great taste in music and in the arts. He loves comedy. Yeah. Jack in the Box.
Big commercial. Leo.
Yeah. Doing your thing. Great resume and body of work, man. What a great body of work. Safe Haven, guys. You do. We will be seeing you again, my friend. Man, I got to tell you, every time we spend time on screen together, I feel like I'm hanging out with one of my friends that I've known for years because, again, you always keep it real. I always wanted to bring this up for all the fans out there that talk about some of the commercial success you've had. In like one calendar year, think about this man's range right here. He's humble, so he won't bring it up, but I will. Think about Kenneth from Can't Buy Me Love, right? Then think about Colors. Think about that film. Think about, of course, this man's great body of work. People talk about Children of the Corn. Those three characters would not get along if they met each other anywhere socially. This guy breathed life. The way that he did. Impressive stuff, man. Really, absolutely iconic. You are awesome, brother. And your music, God, I'm exploring that now. So as I go down the rabbit hole, we're going to talk more about that even when you're not on the show because, and I mean that when I say it, I always do. I'm going to keep playing some of your stuff, keep jamming, and I can't wait to see you again, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
Have a great night. Courtney Gains, guys. What a great guy, man. He's so much fun. And he's also a fellow basketball fan, which is great. He knows his hoops. He knows his sports. You guys remember Christopher Kid Reed wants to talk to Courtney because I told him Christopher's Kid Reed's match is coming up. And he's like, hey, when's Courtney on? They bonded as well. That's what we do over here, guys. These guys are amazing. They really are. And paying homage to also the great Bill Walton. I want to bring somebody up right now, guys, and pay homage to him while he's here because it's important to do that. Mr. Terry Allen, I've known you now for years, and I got to tell you something. Every time we have a conversation, I keep asking myself, how long has it been? And then I realize it's been a few years. And I pray it'll be a few more years because every time we have a conversation, I realize why I do the things that I do here because of men like you, because we've been able to root through all the superficial nonsense that your industry and my industry usually like to advertise, but we advertise humanity. And you're a man of the soul and you're a man of the heart. And I say that to you here. And I want our audience to know that. I want everyone watching knowing that. You do inspire me as a friend. And when I message you privately, you can't really convey emotion in a message, but there's always a smile on my face when I message you because you put a smile on mine, my friend, really.
Well, it's easy to do. And yeah, you inspire me. Like I've said before, this whole form that you've come up with makes people stretch, even though you feel like you do every day. It makes you dig into that self-examination and that self-reflection and remember the journey a little bit, going back in time to remember how you got from point A to point B. And because when you're so involved in the midst of it,
sure,
it's easy to miss some of those impacts and some of those things that really were impactful and beneficial, and things that you don't want to just throw by the wayside because they're all precious memories. We just I've lived so much in the here and now, as we've discussed before.
You do.
You learn from the journey, but you can't live your life looking in a rearview mirror.
No,
you can't toss those memories away because it's your forum to speak to and still benefit some people because they want to know the journey and they want to know,
sure,
how you got from here to here.
There's so many people that owe their lives to you. They've said, like you mentioned, I've spoken to people who've said the same thing about, they know Magnum T.A, they know about the name and the fame and the acclaim, but then when they realize your story and how you kept going and how you persevered, you've helped so many invisible names and faces you've probably never met that are telling people like me or telling my neighbor or telling somebody in Arkansas or somebody in Maine how you help them keep going. Because you're right. I mean, we don't live in the past, but the fact that you can visit the past and grab some sort of nugget and apply to the present and help people as a source of inspiration in their future, you do it all the time. You do it all the time. And that's why I want to be able to celebrate Terry Allen. Magnum T.A is an icon. Terry Allen is a man that I'm glad I have as a brother and as a friend, and I use that term wholeheartedly. And I do hope that you enjoy the following, my friend.
Thank you.
It's fun. It's fun honoring you because it's so easy. It really is. And you, your presence is a present, my friend. And again, I thank you for doing. Sometimes you just click with people and you get their message and it speaks to you, and you're one of those people. So thank you again. I appreciate you.
It is truly an honor, Avi, and this was nothing that I would have ever expected to be able to be part of at this journey and season in my life. But I'm so glad to be a part of it. And I truly believe the future always holds such opportunities for everyone. That the path, the journey, the memories made, all those things are amazing. But we're constantly, as long as we're here on this earth, we're still being honed and formed and chiseled into the best version of ourselves that we might be. And we don't need to know whether we've got tomorrow or we've got 20 years. Nobody knows. But you got to take the same approach every day, regardless. And I think that's so amazing. Your final story about your dad and just his approach to life. And there's nothing like those relationships, and there's nothing that will ever replace them. But those memories are something nobody can ever take away from us. They're so embedded in our DNA and our everyday lives. I see them still living in everything that I touch and do. So you will get through all this.
I appreciate that. And your advice, it's what I'm doing right now. Sometimes it's hard to understand what you're saying and how it's being deciphered. But I always hear you loud and clear, because your message has a lot of wisdom behind it, but a lot of soul. So it grabs me. And I appreciate, again, you being able to prioritize what matters in life. Family, health, that's our wealth. And of course, knowing that better days will come, especially guys and gals, when Magnum T.A, Terry Allen, Avi Klein, yours truly, and this great network will prove to you that we can have fun, keep it clean, and preach edutainment personified. Thank you for joining us tonight, my friend.
My pleasure, Avi, as always.
Likewise. Likewise. Guys and gals and pals, the floor is yours right now as we will read your comments. Thank you again.
Y'all, I'm crying right now because this is going to be one of these three has to go home tonight. Like, we're eliminating somebody, and I don't know how I can do that after that conversation. It's time to vote. Type your votes in the comment section now. Type topic 1 and then the competitor's name, and then topic 2 and the competitor's name. We're tallying them in the back. We'll pull your votes up on screen. We'll read them when we see them. But you can start voting now. Get your votes in. I don't know if it's ever been more crucial and important to make sure that you type your votes in a timely manner so that they arrive on screen, because all three were so amazing tonight. I know it's tough. Avi's saying it right there. I know it's tough, but vote on who resonated most with you for each topic. So type in topic 1 and the person's name, topic 2 and the person's name. Ginger Heartbeat is voting for Courtney. Is that for topic 1 or topic 2? Let us know, please. And vote without bias on the topics or the songs they brought up or the pieces of media, but vote on who resonated with you, who explained their points the best. Both 1 and 2 for Courtney. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. Ginger's got their votes in. Let's start seeing all the rest of you type in your votes there. No bias on the topic, no bias on the pieces of media that they brought up. For the topics, who resonated with you the most? Who made you think? Who made you learn something? Who made you want to learn more? Christopher, thank you for voting. Topic 1 for Magnum T.A and topic 2 for Don Most. Thank you so much for that. I know it's hard. I'm struggling here too. Chad, topic 1, vote for Don, and topic 2 for Terry. Thank you, Chad, for getting that in as well. So you see how important this is. This is going to be close. John Glowaniac, topic 1, Donnie, topic 2, Terry. Thank you so much for getting your vote in. And please remember to stick around. Once this broadcast is over, we will have the outro with our first glimpse at next week's match. And Allison votes for Don for both topics. Thanks, Allison. DJ Solo, topic 1, Courtney, topic 2, Magnum. Thank you, DJ Solo. Gloria. Oh, they are coming in fast and furious. You guys are serious about this one. Gloria Westcott, topic 1, Courtney, topic 2, Don. Thank you, Gloria. Appreciate that. So stick around until the end of the broadcast. At the outro, we will have the oh, excuse me. See, I'm so out of breath from seeing your fantastic votes come in and your wonderful and intelligent comments. We'll have our first look at next week's match at the end of the outro, so stay to the end of the broadcast. And after that, we will have on this very channel, hit that refresh button about 5 or 10 minutes after this broadcast ends, we will have the post show. And that is our giant after party. We get to discuss next week's match, this week's match, and everything in between, everything that's happened on the Black Box. Larry's Legacy will be up. We'll have all of our segments. You'll love it. Rita, thank you so much for voting. We have topic 1, we choose Don, and topic 2, Courtney. Thank you, Rita. Yes, Howard, this is going to be insanely tough, and I think it has come down to my turn. Oh, Ed, got to go with Courtney, Don, and Magnum. All great. Very, very tough decision. I know, and I have to render mine now. And the first topic, which was a multi-part question, and really great, combining all of their love, and I can absolutely see why this topic was given to these 3 competitors. What songs would you give to an athlete, an artist, and a loved one who inspired you? What are those titles and why? And gosh, Don Most hitting it out the park right away with Not All Heroes Wear Capes by Mickey Mantle, and inspiring him to seek that excellence. That's the part of his argument that really struck with me. Also, for his wife, Morgan, in Undying Admiration. Courtney Gains summed everything up so well and so clear, hitting every point in a very organized manner, all 3 parts of the question. Janice Ian, Lightning Does Strike Twice, Jamal Wilkes, Silky Smooth. Love how that was a callback to his round 1 match as well. And how you can find inspiration even in tragedy. Courtney has my vote. Ed, is that for topic 1 or topic 2? Let us know, please. And then Magnum T.A. with this book his mother gave him, and wasn't even an athlete at the beginning, but his mother always supported him. And so he's giving The Giver to Bette Midler, and then Turn for the fans. I know, it's so hard. But for topic 1, I am going with Magnum T.A. I'm sorry. Topic 1, I'm going with Courtney Gains. Getting ahead of myself there. Topic 1, officially, I am voting for Courtney Gains. And then topic 2, silence, which can be so underrated, and a lot of people feel very uncomfortable in that silence. So I think this is a really important question to discuss, and I'm so glad we are doing that here. Courtney Gains immediately thinking of meditation and nature, which was beautiful, and how being in nature slows everything down. And Magnum T.A. losing that ability to communicate verbally when he had that tracheotomy. But what stuck there, passionate people need to express. And in moments of conflict, silence can be valuable. So you can really listen and understand is just beautiful. And then Don Most on his bus rides, being alone in his thoughts with this introspection, this insight and self-discovering that comes in increments. So it's not this aha moment. It's this slow realization over time that adds up. I'm really torn here between Don Most and Magnum T.A. But for this second topic, I'm going with Magnum T.A. That is official. Topic 1, Courtney Gains. Topic 2, Magnum T.A. I know it's tough. If you haven't already voted, get your votes in the comments section. Type in topic 1, person X, topic 2, person Y, and stay tuned to the outro for a first look at next week's match. Stay tuned to the on this channel right after and refresh that page, and in about 5 to 10 minutes we will have the post show, Ed, all topics have my vote for Courtney. New keyboard. Understand getting used to that. Kelly, I haven't seen your vote yet. Please get that in. And here are Pete's votes. Topic 1, I'm going with Courtney. And topic 2, I'm going with Don, but all 3 did amazing. Could not agree more. And now I will bring in Howard Collado to see how he is voting on this super close match.
Wow.
No, I know.
And, where do I start? Where do I don't? Oh, don't know. But very importantly, guys, okay, continue to vote. All right, continue to put in your votes, guys. Your votes, your voices, your comments are also valuable. And again, let's make sure that we vote, no topic bias. All right. Vote on who resonated most with you, right? Who really spoke to you. Very important. And then once we have voted, we will be announcing a winner, and then stick around for the outro, guys, because if you think this match was amazing, again, Avi Klein, he continues to just give amazing content, amazing topics. In this outro, you will find out what we have in store for you next Saturday. So stick around for that. And guys, once the outro is off screen, all right, and the broadcast has ended, the party continues. Okay, so wait 5 to 10 minutes. And then after those 5 to 10 minutes, refresh your channel. All right, refresh the YouTube channel. And then we will pop up in your screen again for the TKN post show. So again, guys, just continue voting. It's almost like I want to continue talking about that because I don't want to vote, but I have to. So let's go. Don Mose, he talked about, not all heroes wear capes, and how he connected that to Mickey Mantle, and how Mickey Mantle's excellence is something he kind of transferred over to his acting career. And obviously we could see that in spades with his amazing work that he's done. And then he talked about Nobody Does It Better by Bobby Darin. Again, I love moments where, being a musician, other musicians put you onto other musicians. And I never knew much about Barry Darin, so it was really awesome to get kind of a education on Barry Darin, to be educated on the guy. You saw him perform at 18 at the Copacabana. Bobby Darin, that is Bobby Darin, an amazing musician that we got to learn so much about tonight. And then, I love how he talked about how Sammy Davis Jr. said Bobby Darin was the only person he would never go on after. I mean, that's pretty cool. Again, those moments where I'm just learning something new and different, and it's awesome. And then Undying Admiration to his wife. Undying Admiration. And it's a song that he devoted to his wife, and just being there for him throughout his life, being a big supporter. That is amazing. And then we got Courtney talked about Janice, if I'm not mistaken, Janice Ian, and an album called Society's Child. And wow, I mean, again, just learning more from these guys and the music that inspired them. And then I love his callback to Jamal Wilkes' Silk. He talked so passionately about him the last time he was on here. And he talked about, and the story about how he formed his shot. That was really cool. I never knew that. And that was a really awesome kind of tidbit. And then the song was and then Magnum came on, and he talked about Dan Gable, the wrestler. The book was titled The Wrestler. It inspired him. And then I love how he played the theme song that we all know. I like to think Rocky, but it's not necessarily the Rocky character that inspired him. And it was the music, and it was the power of the music. And he went on to meet Dan Gable. God, again, this is a tough one, but I'm going to. And then ultimately, this is what really won me over because it resonated with me. He talked about his mom. And how that really, he talked about wings beneath My Wings, and how that song was connected to his mom, and that really got me with Magnum. So my first vote for the first topic goes to Magnum T.A. But all three gentlemen did amazing. Oh, it's I'm laughing because I have an amazing cast I work with every night, and they just bring smiles to my face. Sorry, guys, I'm going to keep it professional here. Topic number 2. Describe a time in your life when silence was able to say more than words. Okay. Courtney talked about nature and going into nature by himself, and how that he had this great quote. He talked about being present to the creation. Holy cow. That was Courtney to my right over here. Had such a great comment on nature. And Magnum talked about, I really love this. Magnum said, you don't talk people out of their feelings, and you have to allow them that space. And I think that was really a very powerful statement to make. And Don Most talked about his beautiful experience in college and what silence meant to him in those experiences and those early formative experiences. I'm going to go with Courtney Gains. And reason being, I remember going out myself too. I went with this amazing cast for the first time we met each other. It was amazing. I met Avi, and then God, we hugged, and we met each other when we went out to West Virginia. And I had a moment very similar to that in nature, being out in the woods, being out near trees. And so when he said that, being present to the creation, very powerful statement. And I totally love it. So those are my votes. I love you guys. That's all I can say. Keep on voting. And I'm going to kick it off to my friend Larry. Oh, man.
I didn't do that because we have the Dungeon Master Challenge coming up soon. I did that as a role to help me because this match is so incredibly hard to make a decision on. So go ahead and get your votes in now. Who resonated with you the most? Who spoke with you the most? Or, as you'll find out in my case, who actually moved your soul? Because that was incredible. And then hang out for the post show afterward. Stay for the outro. Give 5-10 minutes. Go get a drink. Go get a refreshment. Come back. Refresh. Join us. We're going to have some fun. We're going to let off the energy. Because tonight, when I saw these three gentlemen together, I didn't know what to expect. This has been incredible. For the first match, or the first topic, with Courtney Gains, or excuse me, Don Most, saying it was exceptional. The people are exceptional. This was exceptional. My favorite from him was the undying admiration. That was absolutely beautiful for his wife and the tribute that he did. Next, Courtney Gains. Like, he took the time to name songs and break it out for us. He was like the quickest on everything, but gave us all the details that we needed. And my absolute favorite from him was taking the negative and turning it into a positive. And his ex-wife, been forgotten. that just, it hit me for some reason. And then Magnum T.A. Not only did he talk about the athletic hero being Dan Gable and meeting him, but he also said that his mother gave him that book that inspired him. And then he turned around and used his mother as his inspiration for the family member and loved one, and using Wind Beneath My Wings. I thought I was going to go with someone else, but now that I've talked about it, my vote on this one has to go to Magnum T.A. because it spoke to me for topic one. And you guys are doing great. Love the votes coming in. Love the comments. Again, join us for the post show afterward, after the outro. The second topic, silence. Very powerful. And Courtney talking about getting to nature and meditation. I love getting out in nature sometimes. And there's a place in Tennessee, out in the middle of nowhere, no cell service, no nothing. You can meditate there. That was exactly what I was picturing, and he drew me into that. Then Magnum talking about the passion that people have and that you can't silence people on their opinions. Absolutely incredible. But for me, Don Most talking about going on those trips by himself and the self-discovery. I wish I could put it into words, but I felt that in my soul. That actually moved me. So for this one, I have to go for Don Most on topic 2. So with that being said, join us in just a bit. Stick around to find out which one of these gentlemen is unfortunately going home, because that loss is going to be heart-wrenching. And Joe Rizart, you are up next in the initiative order, my friend. What do you got? And Pablo, can you get your vote in, please? What are you voting for?
Here. Well. This is quite the match that we had this evening. Quite the match indeed. I have written down quite a few notes regarding this match because it hits so many topics and things and points that I wanted these gentlemen to cover in some way, shape, or form, and then they did, and it surpassed expectation above and beyond. But before we get into that, what you can do as the viewer that will go above and beyond, that would really help us, is if you vote. If you haven't voted already, please finish, vote. Do what I'm about to do and vote, please, because it makes sense. It will help us gauge who resonated with you. And then on top of that, don't vote with bias. There's no voting bias here. If someone resonated with you, that is fantastic. But please do not vote for them because, oh, this was my favorite wrestler. Or, oh, I grew up with that movie and I enjoyed it so much. You know, that's the reason, or that show or that song is why I'm going for that. No. Vote without bias. Who resonated with you? Who do you think gave the best argument? And then on top of that, there are a few more things. Once the judges have finished voting, and once we have finished tallying, stick around for the outro. We're going to show you what next week is going to be. And hello to you all. We're going to show you what next week is going to be, and it is important that you see it all for yourself. And then finally, I'd like to bring this up. You have to see what happens, because once that outro is over, give it 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15, but 10, of course, you will get to see the post show. And don't forget, if you do want to see the post show, you have to refresh that YouTube channel. If you refresh your page, then you're going to get to see that we are live once more. So, that being the case, I have my notes and I have who I'm going to vote for. And a few things right off the bat I want to mention is that Don started off really strong with doing Owl City and Not All Heroes Wear Capes for Mickey Mantle to strive to be the best he could be, how that inspired him, and also talking about Bobby Darin as well. And for him, his undying admiration in the way that he talked about his wife. And before I get back to that, I want to say that I love Courtney Gains educating us on different people like Janice Ian and Jamal Wilkes, and even how his ex inspired a song. And I love that he used all songs that he had either written or something that he knew of and what he would give that title to. I appreciated that so much. And Magnum, of course, describing how they went out of their way to make The Wind Beneath Their Wings a song and a thing, and this moment that he found from inspiration from the wrestling book about Dan Gables that he got, and then took that time to make this edit for his mom with Wind Beneath My Wings and Gonna Fly Now. I love that. But the thing that caught me and resonated with me most is the undying admiration that Don Most had for his wife. That hurt and hit so much that despite her Parkinson's, that he's so enamored and intensely for her and all that she is doing, and supports her so much. And that is why my first topic vote goes to Don Most. And the second topic vote, when we had topics that this portion dealt with introspection with Don Most and how he was able to have self-reflection on rides on his way to auditions, and then silence and conflict, and feelings that something that should not be prevented, and being out in nature with Courtney Gains. There's nobody to evaluate you out there, that you can really truly be yourself. But something that really inspired me in this one that resonated with me was Magnum T.A. going into that when someone really has these feelings, these big feelings that are real within themselves, don't try to prevent them. Don't try to prevent them from that, because it's going to self-implode, and that's something that you can't let happen to them, and that you can really find in these moments by being present with them, supporting them. True healing in being that way. So my vote for topic 2 goes to Magnum T.A. And with that out there, amazing a match. Keep sending your votes. If you have not voted yet, please vote. Please vote. We are tallying them all up in the back. We're doing an amazing job. And you know what? I would like to bring in, before we go, I want to bring in Giselle. I want to bring in Howard. I want to bring in Larry. I want to kick it to all of you and bring you in right now, because oh my goodness, what a match this
man.
It's not. It's did anybody at least tear up at some point down the line?
I was bawling in the back, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have my glasses on.
Magnum's, when you mentioned his mother and that relationship he
had
with her, and that just
doing, specifically taking the time, and like the song, the inspiration going back to her, and then also making that possible. Oh my goodness, this is officially the closest match we have ever had in round number 2. Here are the results. Oh my goodness. Wait. Oh my.
Can't wait.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Like
I don't want one of them to go home. I am not ready for this.
What we just saw.
Can't wait. This is incredible.
Guys, take in what we just witnessed last 2 hours, and now we have to decide.
Officially the closest match. We've had some really, really close matches in round 2. We still have a few matches that need tiebreakers that are coming up soon. Buff Bagwell and Brian McKinney and the Dan Loria and Dan Jansen. And so like if this is the closest.
First place.
Okay. In first place.
First place, remote.
Come on.
Who is it?
First off.
First off.
It's Avi Curve. It's the Avi Curve. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
what is this going to say?
Yeah. Just playing with that suspense.
Look, we know anything and everything can happen on a night like this, on any Saturday. This is why they are
exactly.
All but Joe, what do you think this could mean?
It feels like it could be Joe's not keeping a dead body behind him on that bed. I promise. I don't actually. Oh no! Look behind. See? No, you can't. You can't. I mean, I can't. You can't see it.
I can't see it.
There's nobody on there. There's just brown.
That is not.
There's just brown.
A lot of confidence, Joe. I don't think you're proving this comment correct.
There's just sweatpants. That's all there is. Which is an excellent plug for next week's Black Box and also our Friday Feels and the post show, because that's where you'll find out all about that.
Joe,
that's where you'll find out all about that.
That's where we'll find the dead bodies.
Like, wow. Okay.
It's not a distraction if you can't prove anything.
Wow. Yeah. It's
that smile doesn't make me feel any more comfortable. He doesn't have something there.
It's ahead. It's someone really lying like this.
But first place, who could it be? Who could it be? Who could it be?
Costco with his head.
Chad, good one, Chad.
Don't
put his head in the car.
That's a good one, Chad. That's a good one. Every time he puts his arm oh man!
All right. So we've got that out of the way now. Good to know. Happy everybody.
No. Oh my god.
Joe.
Oh man.
Oh no.
Oh, there you go.
I can see it.
Oh.
I can see
it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. No, we have that out. No, don't zoom in. Don't zoom in.
Please zoom in.
Ooh.
Don't do that. It's not me. It's not me.
I think
This is a shoot.
now. I don't think you can avoid that,
No,
Joe.
Joe. Could be the lead. No, I don't want to be the lead in you. No. Hold on.
Be the lead.
No. We're good. You don't see anything behind me. It's fine. Everything is fine. It's okay. I'm just gonna block this out.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't breathe.
Definitely
It's not gonna be the only body there.
You.
Oh my god. Wow, we still have to declare a winner.
We still have to declare a winner. First place and second.
We still do, but man.
Yeah, first place.
Yes, which two of these incredible human beings will advance?
Oh, Don Most, Magnum T.A, and Courtney Gains are dear friends.
Oh boy.
The results.
Sure.
The results. It's gonna be.
If that first place doesn't pop up soon, I'm gonna bite all of my nails off.
I think I'm gonna have a vein pop off my head.
Why are the nails
End up with
going?
another body if it keeps going.
Oh!
Okay. Okay.
Free to count the votes when replaying.
We did pull them all up. You can go to the comments and see them all.
I mean, I just gotta say, all three of these amazing topics, first and foremost, to really inspire these three gentlemen to just open up their heart. Oh boy!
First place.
He brought freaking visual aids with him. He had a whole presentation.
Yeah.
First place.
I want to know.
I'm first place. Let's go.
I can't look at Joe.
Me either. I'm just gonna block them off.
What? Courtney Gains.
TV Gains, Magnum T.A.
Avi, I'm physically hurting.
Have you guys ever witnessed a three-way tie here?
Not round two.
Never.
No.
Wow.
What?
Really?
Whoa.
What does that mean?
Seriously. Do we get to see these guys go at it again? All three of them?
What? I mean, in a way, I'm not. So I mean,
We've not seen it yet. No.
No.
What to do, Engine? What
is it? Wait, no. Does this mean that that's it?
No, it's not. So we know what we do if we've had a two-way tie. We have those vying for second place. They're going to meet again, but we have a three-way tie. This is
three-way tie.
Do they just intersect into other matches?
This is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. This has never happened before. A three-way tie, the first in round two. Holy cow!
But people.
Wait, no. This is wait. This is
a tie. So what are we going to do? Engine, what do you want to see?
Engine.
Besides the bodies that Joe
Time.
Look, everyone. This is where you get to vote on what happens. Put it in the comments. Don't look behind what's behind me now, and vote in the comments right now what you think should happen.
Allison, Sharon, Ramon,
Chad,
Ed,
Yeah.
Phil, Kelly,
Gloria.
Pete.
This is when we need you now more than ever.
We need you to vote.
Okay.
All three move on. Well, okay, so far
That's one.
we got one.
We do that, Mr. Klein?
Chad.
Have another match?
Another match.
Yeah.
All three should move on. Okay, so we got 2 votes for all three should move on. We have one should have another match from Chris. Okay, cool. Come on. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you for that. Come on, somebody vote. Somebody, Phil, Pete.
Are definitely
people.
Matter. They always matter, but they definitely matter now.
This is the thing about TKN is this is why we're so cool is because you can vote and be able. Okay, hold on.
I did state that a two-way tie would mean a rematch between the two individuals that were tied for second, but never have we witnessed a three-way tie. But if ever we have another three-way tie, what is going on in that head of yours, Mr. Klein?
That is very pitiful.
What are we going to see?
Oh, man.
I mean, I didn't imagine even one three-way tie in a round 2 match.
Then a rematch will occur.
Is that definitive?
So, are we getting a rematch?
The mother of all options.
Again.
Hey, that's not a bad thing. Hold on a moment.
No.
Incredible.
But how far will that take us then?
But since that has not happened to me,
Awesome.
Yes! Very cool.
Oh wow. That
Hey, they all 3 of them deserve it, man.
I can't imagine 3 more deserving competitors to have to move on. Should this ever happen again in round 2, we will have a rematch. But whew, I'll be unbelievable at first.
Yeah.
Gosh,
that's the incredible thing is that they resonated with different people so much.
Yes.
That they all got what they deserved. To be honest.
Yeah.
No, they did.
We don't have to stay one.
But honestly, I'm still not sure I voted the right way because they all resonated with me in some way, shape, or form. It was so close for all of them.
Yes.
But
that's the special thing.
Yeah.
That's
and
the special thing about them.
Notes, and you're seeing what they said and how they said it and why they made their choices that they did. 3 men that touched us all. Congrats to all of them. Each and every week we have seen an elimination. Tonight, these 3 made TKN history.
Nice. Yeah. Amazing. There you go.
Right. That's how unbiased voting truly works. And a huge bravo to all 3. And thank you, Mr. Gains, Mr. Most, and Magnum T.A. for spending your Saturday evening with us and giving us this incredible night of competition, of camaraderie, of everything that TKN is. And we're not over yet. We have more round 2 to come. We have more 11th hour to come. So what do you say? Let's see who's going to be up next week. Who's going to follow this incredible match and who is in the top 10 this week.
Obsession is going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about?
I don't understand all the violence and inhumanity that happens in the name of God.
My shoulder pads with a cane and said, "How would you like to be in a play?" And I said, "I always wanted to do that." And she said, "I know." And I said, "How would you know?" And she said, "Because I'm the greatest acting teacher in the world." And she was, Constance Welch.
He made people understand
that, you know, you have a voice. And when you talk, people will listen to you. And if you don't talk, people won't listen to you.
You are able to go to parts of the world and visit different countries. I advise you to do it because it's fabulous.
Brought it up to my mom and dad and family at dinner that night. And my mother said, "Bob, I got cancer, but I'm not dying tomorrow. You got a chance to go to Hawaii, get your butt on an airplane."
By the way, you did wonders. The lady had the baby about an hour after you left. Well, and they had a boy. And I said, "Oh, wonderful, wonderful." Well, that's not all. Well, what are you talking about? They named him Sarge.
You're a little bit older, so I can't really stop you. But my little verbal communication with that eye and the smile kind of control that situation right there, I must say.
And doing music, you get to see the reaction of people right away.
Yeah.
And I'd rather, you know, see the smiles and stuff. I like that much better.
Man.
You know, you think about those front people, it's like, wow, we were fortunate.
Robert Wolf.
I was watching for the stories. Do they hold up? You know, you see different fashions, but the stories held up because the stories were about character. And
forgiveness is something that you really have to come to accept. You have to lay down everything.
I want to thank the fans also because it wouldn't have been possible without you, all you fans. If you're not a Ram fan, you're some kind of fan. If it's baseball, basketball, football, you know, you should give yourself a round of applause for and foremost for coming out. We're all unplugged. And a lot of times we take that for granted because we went through it and we just expect everybody to be like us. There's a reason that they hand out those Oscars and those Olympic medals and those awards for whatever you became great at.
I actually want to help people to try to get where I am, and I want to see other people break my records and get that fame.
Yeah, when women are saying, "I want equality," we haven't had the equality to be incompetent like men have had.
Because he wanted me to react, and I pretended that I didn't see it, and I didn't give him what he wanted. The best question was no question.
Yes.
The space race and all of that, the impact that it had globally was putting America at the very, very top notch of you know, human exceptionalism.
I mean, I just take the time out to really think about what I'm doing and how it's going to work in the long run. You know, because I'm going for the whole 9 yards.
January 6th is so important because we can never allow this to be repeated again.
That a hero and an idol of mine named Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston.
When the Joker takes a beat in a Batman episode, the way Tigger's cadence comes off, the way Mel Blanc does his work, I think of those things and then I take those into the voices I do.
You know, he had such a belief in me that I think it taught me that, wow, if someone believes in me that strongly, I should be believing in myself. Why shouldn't I believe in myself?
Over the next month. I'm Nancy Kerrigan. See you at the Super Bowl.
Machines are going to be our muscle, and we hope that they're going to be, you know, their truth
is the truth that we imbue in them to be kind, to be civil.
Again, that comes back to my parents because they were so positive and supportive, saying, well, you're different, you know, you're unique.
Well, I do a lot with the military. So I tell folks I play an American hero on TV, but the men and women in the armed forces, they're the real American heroes.
I survived because that was my main concern. I didn't want my daughters to grow up without a dad. I didn't care about coming back to wrestling at all, you know, but not only did I survive it, but I was able to come back to the profession I love.
Not going to be perfect, you know, we're not. And if you just accept that, and you accept that everyone is trying to do the same thing you're doing, which is just trying to make it through the day and be the best they can possibly be.
Buddy Rogers was the first one to kind of start integrating that into his style of putting 2, 3, and 4, 5 moves together. So what you think is a high spot is not a high spot.
It's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, you gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you.
You know what? Maybe one of the world's problems will get solved by listening to this show.
Avi, I'm gonna win this whole thing. Watch. I know you are, Tom. I know you are.